in an area that I really don't want to be carrying a lot of money. So I just said, no, I can't do it. I just want to be the guy on the mic and tell people what stage they're on.
Well, that wouldn't pay as well as a manager.
Those guys get tips because they play songs the girls ask for.
Oh, all right.
The girls have to tip them to play songs.
Yeah, or else he can play what he wants. But if I'm going to be on center stage, I like this song, okay. And they would tip. So all the girls tipped the guy playing the DJ.
Oh, Lord.
A lot of Leonard Skinner.
So I wanted that. I didn't want to be a manager. I got to wear a tuxedo every night. He says, the problem you'll have is a lot of girls don't want to show up, and they're going to come to you in the office and offer you things to get a night off. You have to. I said, well, I'm not going to say no to any of them.
Well, that sounds fun.
Depending on what I get out of it.
Those are good perks.
So I said, I don't want to be in charge.
Sounds unethical.
I don't want to be in charge of the women either. I don't want to be in charge.
Wouldn't that leave you up to wide open for a lawsuit?
This
This is what my boss at work made me do?
I wouldn't. No, they offer it.
Well, that's what
I
they
said, look,
say.
I'm not taking bribes. I'm not taking bribes for this. But I don't want to be in charge of the women. If they don't show up, I got to go find another one to take her place, and I'm not going to be in charge of all of that. So I said, okay, let me think about it, and I just never called him back.
Oh.
So I had the job, but
Yeah. What would it have paid?
more than the radio gig was paying. So, but I didn't like the hours. I mean, 10 o'clock in the morning till 8, 9 o'clock at night, and then I have to do all the receipts and go to the bank, and it's like a 12-hour day. And I don't want to stare at naked girls that long.
No.
So we got to close out this this
Okay.
Mungan-ass 7 o'clock hour. We have the drops of the week coming up. We have the Bernarelli Cutlery Cuts of the week coming up. We have the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day coming up. Send yours in the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Matt Rocchio will be with me for Balloon Party. He's sticking around from his responsibilities with Randy Character and Michelle Smallman since Jackson is vacationing in the Hamptons today. So that's coming up at 10 o'clock. Pepper and Jeannie, you guys going to follow up on your DP discussion from yesterday?
I don't know. I think we put that one pretty much to bed.
Yeah.
When we get a topic, we bury that.
We got a couple of Mount Rushmore topics we want to throw.
Oh, nice. What do you got?
Oh, yeah, I forgot to do that, but I will have that ready.
Favorite character names in movies or TV shows, not the character himself, the actor's name, the character name. And then some favorite lines from movies. So we're going to do that.
I guess Pepper and Jeannie.
Okay.
P&G, baby.
It's not all sex on Pepper and Jeannie.
I'm sorry, I missed the DP discussion. I guess the best DP combination, Ozzy to her to Jack Clark.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
6, 4, 3.
We mentioned that.
Yeah.
Probably the best was Manuel, Marcus Dupree, and...
Who'd they play for?
Marcus Dupree was with Oklahoma, right?
Well, yeah, but
Lionel
they didn't
Rhodes,
turn double
probably.
plays in football.
Yeah, and I think the fun one was, Eiffel Tower. Is it a DP? And so I think that's what we kind of said.
We broke down.
We're going to leave that as a teaser.
They play baseball in France now.
That's correct.
Okay. See, that's why I guess I should have listened to the show.
There's not another
All these
show in the
things.
country that would have talked about that yesterday.
French baseball?
French baseball. That's
And we
correct.
talked about knocking on the door. When there's somebody in there, there's nobody in there. I know Moon was asking when people knock on the door, what should you do? Because I guess I knocked on the door one day when he was in there.
Talking about the bathroom now.
Bathroom here, and
correct.
we talked about etiquette. Look, just, stop shutting the door if you're not in there. That would cure everything. People shut the door and they're not even in there, and you think, oh, I'm going to wait. No, but you knock, guess what? There's nobody in there.
Guess what? Yeah.
So you have
Sometimes there's doors, if they lock, it'll say occupied, unoccupied.
Yeah, we brought that up.
Maybe we need that.
Nice, Doug. You did listen to the show.
Aunt Peg's not happy with those. Aren't Mount Rushmore topics movie lines. The creative juices are really flowing on P&G. That's from Aunt Peg, who may or may not have won his match yesterday. I don't know.
Quit texting in crap
Oh,
and text in your score. I still don't know what it is. It's not going up until you text in and let me know what you did. It's not going up there.
Do we need Mark Cooper to confirm it, though? I mean, we need 2 sources for something this important as that.
I think we're good.
I don't even know if Cooper listens to the show. I do. I trust Aunt Peg.
Here's Action Jackson with 3 more ways to get TMA content.
Watch TMA on YouTube. Click the bell to subscribe. Download the podcast. Find it at tmastl.com or wherever you podcast. And check us out on TikTok at TMASTL.
Thanks, Jackson. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on 105.7 FM HD2.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and I am here with Ryan Kelly, the HomeLoanExpert.com, longtime title sponsor of TMA. And you are always taking care of our audience, and now you're doing it in a way that is very appreciated at this particular moment in American history with the cash out refi.
Not only are we doing the cash out refi, but I'm going to put a 10-day closing guarantee on it because I know that people right now need money like they've never needed it before. Get the money you need today. Get caught up on the bills. Stop worrying. Visit thehomeloanexpert.com.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPN-TFM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day. Rise and shine, St. Louis. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on KPN-TFM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. At the Morning After STL on YouTube and on TMASTL.com with Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Iggy Strode, The Plowboy, and Action Jackson.
7:07 in St. Louis. You're listening to the Ryan Kelly Morning After. This is the Munganess St. Louis Acura Alton Toyota. 7 o'clock hour. Broadcasting from the Michelob Ultra Studios. Timothy Michael McKernan, Douglas Elvin Vaughn, Kenneth Iggy Strode, Action Jackson, Virgin Pringle Sauce Boss, and the Plowhawk on the ones and twos. And if you're watching on YouTube, Doug, you can see the Plowhawk's hedonism panties on his mic. And all I see is it says curious on the side.
Isn't that kind of, I think it kind of looks good for the camera.
I like that. I want something on my mic. I want some boy panties on my mic.
It looks perfect on the camera.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
That's nice. And hedonism did I think it's an annual at $175,000.
Yeah, it just hit my bank account.
Yep, they go straight to you for being able to advertise the panties on the Plowhawks mic.
Are those the panties that you wore and showed off a little bit at Maggie O'Brien's?
I'm not sure. I saw them sitting on my desk when I came up.
They're just used panties all over the studio because the ladies love what we do on HD2.
You kept asking for a pair, so I brought a pair in for you today.
I appreciate it. It's good to have. You never know when you're going to have to bust them out. So
well, asking for a pair and putting it right on the mic is two different things.
Well, I didn't know where to put it, and I thought, hey, let's kind of decorate. We're in the Halloween season, right around the corner to Christmas. Get in the decoration mood, and I think it looks good.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
All right.
Well, maybe hang a pair outside.
That would be kind of tacky, wouldn't it?
They're not my panties. I gave him to Plowsy. He can do what he wants with them.
Yep. Once the panties are gifted to another gentleman, they are his to use how he pleases. You can give your thoughts on the panties. Engineer Design Facilities, text inbox 314-881-TMA5. You can call in, as we really are starting to use these phone lines now, Doug. They're the Steve Schmidt Kia of North County phone lines, 636-9004-TMA. And then you can email in for our Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Brand new month. Our jerseys are clean, aren't they? Look at our jerseys.
Yeah, very white. Very white and bright. Yeah.
We're wearing Navy caps, and you can compete. But you have to defeat Kevin Miller, who shocked the world by beating Gunter 5-4. He also beat Ann, collector of butt plugs, Call from Chicago, Chimpy, Shrimply Pibbles, Blueberry Pop Pop, Tunnels 12,000, Long Balls, and Iggy also had a win. But Kevin Miller had a really nice month of September, and he has won the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the month. See if he can repeat this week. That'll be fun. That'll be fun to see if he can do it this month. He always does well in October, according to the splits.
Well, I don't remember any of that.
Look it up.
It's just whoever writes in, whatever name they choose. I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason or analytics study that needs to be done about it. But congratulations to him. He's a veteran. He's been around the block a time or two. He's been engaged for, 12, 13 years now. Can't complete that. Can't tie a bow around that or put a ring on it, I guess.
Still trying to find a venue.
Is that the problem?
It's a venue issue?
COVID thing?
I think we should figure out the rules here because he emails in with a different name every time. Now, we know it's Kevin Miller, but he doesn't send it in as Kevin Miller.
Yeah.
He sends it in to Souk MD or whatever. He makes these things up. I don't want to say the whole word.
That isn't how he wants to be that in the text inbox.
That one made up right off the bat. That was pretty good.
I mean, what? This is like Will Ferrell improv.
So if you want to send in a different name every time, then it should go as an individual win, not Kevin Miller.
I'm not writing those ridiculous names down.
Thank you. And it should go by the email that was sent. Like if it's Kevin Miller at hotmail.com. I mean,
give us your government name.
Well, we are.
Yeah, I mean, the emails come from Kevin's Hotmail. Let's not mess around.
Is it really? I was making that up.
Kevin
Is it really?
sells homes.
Yeah, that's the email that comes in.
That's so good. I was
Hotmail.
making
Like, he's
that
not
up.
camouflaging it. It's Kevin Miller.
His business email is Hotmail?
You taking a shot?
Yeah.
No way if business email.
That's the funniest part, and I don't want to discourage people from emailing because I love emails, but like some people's LinkedIn's are attached to their email accounts. So
while they're sending in erotica.
So like if you put some ridiculous name, some ridiculous email, and then it says your job title up at the front top of your email.
CEO Stiefel.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, that's odd.
Well, I got AOL, so I shouldn't really make fun of anybody's email address.
Well, is that a status thing, the email that you have? Anyone care? As long as it works?
I don't. I just thought people make fun of my AOL. I figure I'll make fun of somebody else's.
Okay.
And
I remember
Hotmail's pretty old.
I thought we don't email shame.
We don't kink shame.
No.
I remember
one of the two.
Clayton from 590 when I went from interning to being hired. I filled out paperwork, and my email was like Big D Atkins 42069. I'm not kidding, at yahoo.com. And he's like, yeah, you should probably change that. I was like, okay, I got you.
Clayton Burry?
Yeah, great dude. So yeah, I changed that and to what I have now. But yeah,
He's acting these days.
yeah, he's really he's a good dude.
Where's he acting?
He had to deal with all the bounce checks. I kind of felt for him there.
Oh.
A lot of local stuff. Him and Carly Lawrence do some stuff together.
Oh, good. All right.
Then I'm in the next movie.
But now, why will you be in the next movie?
The director's a listener to the show, and he said, tell Iggy I got a part.
Nice.
What part?
Congratulations on that.
I don't know. He told Carly that.
Love scene, no doubt.
Well, I'll probably play a corpse or something.
Oh.
Just lay there.
Halloween theme.
Yeah.
We need a zombie.
Keep slurping coffee into the mic, scrotum man.
Yeah, well, then I will.
I
How about
love
that?
how it sounds. Doug, that's Nate in Tallahassee. Did the Seminoles beat Wake Forest or not?
No, Wake won.
Wake won.
Seminole had a nice comeback, though. Down 28-7, I do believe.
Beware the Knowles. Mr. Licks is ready right at the top of the show. He says he has a lot of takes he needs to call in about, but he's not sure the listeners are ready for it. That's from Mr. Licks.
Yeah, we're not ready for it right now.
We need to settle in, get comfortable before the screeching hot takes come in.
You can watch the program on YouTube, youtube.com/TMASTL. Doug, you said, is there any chance you can do 8 hours of radio today? And I said, sure, I'll be happy to. So I will
doing it
be.
again?
I'm doing it again.
Oof, man.
He's doing it again. Remember that KC95 commercial from the early 80s? Mom, he's doing it again. And then the dad's in there in his office, and he cranks up. Does it Start Me Up? Remember that? Iggy, I would feel like you would know that commercial. And he does the air guitar. It's a
Vaguely.
famous commercial.
He gets up out of the chair and starts doing the guitar
I
thing.
bet that's on YouTube. Let me see what
Probably.
Yeah, so anyway, 8 hours of radio, hour number 1. Doug, would you like to join me for 8 hours of radio today?
Well, I'm busy. I am so pressed for time.
Yeah, I got to be honest. That sounds terrible.
That's a lot of
God, I couldn't even imagine having takes like that.
a lot of chirping.
I'd have to dig into my take chest.
I will say, so I'm doing TMA, obviously, and then Balloon Party, the award-winning Balloon Party, and then the Fast Lane again. I did it last Wednesday. The difference between this program and then Balloon Party and then that one is I kind of am in the, Doug, would you call it the 2 spot?
No, I don't know what you'd call it.
Because Anthony Stalter kind of runs point, and then you have Marshy Marsh and the Funky Bunch, and he's in the Plowhawk spot. And I guess Brad Thompson is out with the Cardinals in the series in Pittsburgh, and Jamie Rivers is out, and so that's how this has transpired. And then there are breaks every 12 minutes. And so as opposed to talking constantly, it's kind of like, oh. But yes, it is, a lot of takes. And I've been up since 2:30. I have
For what purpose?
No idea. Went to bed at 10:30 standard time, and then got up and couldn't fall back asleep. And so I would describe myself as a liability, even more so than normal today.
Oh, no.
But at least the lucky thing, it's not like a Wednesday. Like there is at least sports you can regurgitate.
Yeah,
I mean, so at least you do have content that you can fill rather than digging deep into the.
Well, as Jackson knows from QFTA, there doesn't need to be a topic for me to be able to talk for a couple of hours. And then he just sits there and politely nods while texting with Gareth.
Yeah, texting for some plays. Yeah, you'll be good. I when you're on the fast lane on Wednesday last week, it was good.
Oh,
so.
look how about Jackson, Doug. Look at this guy. Doug's grabbing the
right
call. Doug, here's the commercial from KC95. Mom, he's doing it again. Here it is.
I vaguely remember that.
Here, I'm showing you because there he is. That guy right there. Wonder if that guy's. Do you recognize him, Iggy, at all?
No.
How about that?
I guess maybe I haven't seen it, but when you described it, I vaguely remembered it.
Yeah, I remember the dude in there by himself, but
I wasn't here in the early '80s, so that's why.
Right, you were in Miami.
my brother
Snorting
used
rails,
to,
right?
Yeah.
My brother used to yell that quite
I think
a bit.
it was actually distributing.
In our room, my brother used to yell that quite a bit. Mom, he's doing it again.
And what did he mean by that? Your brother, I mean.
Rube.
Oh,
You know,
Doug, what were those sounds I heard?
I don't know. I didn't like him
make them.
really.
oh, I'm not going to explain myself. You get it, you get it, you don't, you don't. But I remember the first St. Louis commercial I ever remember. I moved here. I was, chilling with Mace Dog up at his place there in Collinsville. And it was a lady flying on a magic carpet.
Yeah,
Oh,
Becky.
yeah,
Becky,
Becky.
Queen of Carpet.
Yeah, the
or
Queen of
Wanda,
Carpet.
Princess of Tile.
And I remember, wow, what a weird commercial. And that was the
Yeah.
first one I remember
Yeah.
watching one that's local to the St. Louis market when I moved down here.
Well, he used to produce a
Queen
lot
of
of. You had the Mizzou did great commercials.
Oh, Steve Mizzarani and Joe
Yeah.
Farrett.
Yeah, and then Uncle Leonard.
Sure, with Vince Coleman.
Yeah, they.
That's right.
So St. Louis used to. Now you got
Uncle
Ryan.
Leonard's love child?
He used to text into
Yeah.
the program. I don't know if Vince Coleman was or not.
Now you got Ryan Kelly taking up the slack,
Yeah.
bringing the local commercials back.
Mhm. Those people became local celebrities
They did.
from their commercials.
Especially Steve Mizzarani.
Tim
Dave
Iggy also
Sinclair
has
was
a rough day of 10 to 11 hours of TV watching today. # grinding. That's from the Hunchback of Vaughan Castle. What is on the itinerary today?
Well, I don't think we're talking about my day, Von Castle. We're talking about Tim's.
Well, hopefully you can knock out a few TV shows, though.
Well, over the
What will you
weekend,
watch?
I knocked out, finally finished Dahmer.
Yeah, I did see your text.
Are you happy with it, or was that a rough watch?
That's just depressing as hell.
I told you it was rough. The acting's tremendous. It's very in-depth, but
I didn't expect a comedy, but and we knew what happened. But I mean, they went. I mean, they could have probably done that in six episodes.
They dragged it out?
I mean, the one episode was just about the one guy who was deaf.
he
He was the last guy.
Doug, what do you think of the episode about the guy who was deaf?
I don't even know what that
It
means.
was hard to watch. I mean, the whole episode was him writing on paper. And then the lady who kept calling the cops and they didn't listen to her, she thought she was a superstar. Why nobody listened to me? I'm the one that called. She's like, okay, well, it was like 3 episodes on her. So you could have gotten to 6, but
you need a shower after the first one, though.
yeah,
that's the one that my wife watched. I have not watched the show, and she watched it late at night and said she had a tough time sleeping.
Oh yeah. I watched them all during the day.
Good choice, Plowhawk.
watching
That's
that
a
at night.
veteran move.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Doug, you have any desire to watch the Dahmer Netflix?
Not really. I usually don't
series?
like dark, depressing,
See,
angry shows.
I'm fascinated with crime, documentaries, docuseries, remakes of that, anything, serial killers. But this one was tough because it was very detailed.
well, I'd rather it was a documentary. I like the documentaries on people like that, whether it be Bundy or whatever. But then when you do the movie, then you ask people acting, and they can add whatever they want to make it as gruesome as they want. And
I don't know, Zac Efron was a pretty good Bundy.
Why do you think we're so fascinated by the worst people that are walking amongst us?
I think you can't even fathom kind of the things they do, maybe, and you kind of wonder what, happened and what triggered them. I don't know what it is.
Audience raging in the EDF text inbox that Iggy is spoiling the show.
I mean,
well, you don't know what happened with Dahmer?
yeah,
It was like 30 years ago.
Watch it, Angry.
everything that's in the document or in this movie is it's all documented. I mean, this is no spoilers are needed.
Let me tell you how the greatest story ever told ends.
Yeah.
He died on the cross.
Oh,
Spoiler.
If you haven't seen 61, Maris gets it.
does he really?
I
All
gotta
right.
throw it out
Good.
there.
I was pulling for him.
Now, I will say, Evan Peters will probably win an Emmy for this.
He should.
He was fabulous.
Doug Evan Peters, you think he'll win the Emmy? Or?
He was fabulous, from what I understand.
I mean, I think he's in every American Horror Story that they've ever made. He'll probably win an Emmy for that, but yeah, it was. Then I watched a game of.
Did they show him getting killed in prison?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
Spoiler again.
Spoiler again.
It's
Well,
brutal.
yeah, I hate to tell you, he was killed in prison.
Yeah.
That was on our Dead or Alive last week.
Well, it was on the news, too, when it happened years ago. It's
If you
been
were out there-
years
If
now.
you got our TMA Live, you knew he was dead because he was a dead or
interesting.
alive
I didn't
question.
know this at all. The Dahmer series is essentially a look into Mr. Licks's life. That's from the Warson Woods Wacko.
Oh.
Doug, that's a shot across the bow to start the week
Yes,
from
it
the
is.
Warson Woods Wacko in Mr. Licks's direction.
What I noticed about the movie is everybody is so fit and so into shape in the 70s and 80s.
Well, that's usually the actors and actresses that they hire are usually in shape, somewhat fit. I mean, there's a few parts for fat people, but not many.
That one hitchhiker he picked up, I think it was his first. Whoever the actor was did a very good job, having that chiseled body. And But yeah, I thought it was really good, really dark, and I saw your tweets, Iggy, about it, so I'm glad you brought it up.
What did you tweet?
He said, I didn't expect the comedy, but whoosh, this is dark.
How do you spell wish?
I think I'm paraphrasing the tweet at this point.
All right. No, I wouldn't have thought you'd expect a comedy on that.
Well, but I don't know. It's basically what I thought it would be. I mean, I knew all about Dahmer. I knew what he did, but I guess when you're watching 10 episodes of it, it's different if you have watched a documentary. It's like 2 or 3. This is like 10 episodes an hour long. So it was like dragging on, and more killing and more, him frying the liver.
Seems like a waste of time to bother watching what one of the worst human beings in our time has done. Why give it 10 hours?
Well, like I said, I'm just fascinated by serial killers.
Well,
I've watched them all.
There have been some accusations about your pretties.
I watched the Wayne Gacy one. I watched the Bundy one. I watched this one. I watched the BX killer, MX?
No, BTK.
BTK killer. I don't know. It's just
Boston Strangler. Did you watch that?
Because we're not. Yeah,
Son of Sam.
The Tony Curtis one I did. Look, we're not.
My favorite, the Green River Killer.
We're not like that. So to watch those and see how can somebody do that? What is going through their mind? And then you kind of, get to watch the whole documentary. So I think people are fascinated by car wrecks and rubbernecking. Ooh, look, an accident. They stop what they're doing. Just, I don't know.
And Madison watched one episode. He goes, "Nah, you can finish."
I almost stopped.
Good for her.
I almost stopped after 7, and then I said, I'll finish watching.
I am 100% calling in now. That idiot needs to know his place. That's from Mr. Licks.
Oh.
Hey, guys, Mizzou played football this weekend. That's from the 314. Doug, that's the hashtag Talk Sports people.
We have 2.5 hours.
Has there been a movie made about a serial radio hijacker? If not, I have a few ideas.
Well, let's get back to. I think Tim said, "What did you watch this week?" Tim asked me what I watched this week, so I answered a question. Why don't you just stop?
Stop it now. Come on.
Licks just keeps. He thinks he's a big star now. Oh, I better call in. Got to call in and talk. Get ready for me, everybody. I've got takes today.
You're fed up with this, Licks.
I don't care.
No.
But for a guy that's got to text in and tell people he's calling in.
Yeah.
They haven't mentioned my name yet today. I better text in and let them know I'm calling.
Yeah, that's right.
Doug, you are vacationing in the Hamptons starting on Wednesday, and you will be back next Wednesday. Is that correct?
Yeah.
The great
vacation?
Michael Wellington will be filling in.
What up, Welly?
For Doug while he is in the Hamptons. What were you asking, Iggy? I'm sorry, I stepped up.
I was just asking, Doug, third vacation this year?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
At this
there'll be a
point,
fourth.
At this point, it's probably cheaper just to get that vacation home.
In the Hamptons?
In Destin.
I don't know about that. I wonder if you could buy some Florida real estate now really cheap. If some people have said, that's it, I'm out. I can't take this. Can't deal with this anymore.
The market is down. I was actually texting with my real estate agent down, Gordon Long, father of Adam Long, friend of the show, PJ Tour. And he said it has absolutely slowed, but costs are still 50% more than they were 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's slowed, and you're not like, when somebody lists a house for whatever number you'd want to use, and then they automatically, put an offer in that's 10% higher because you are in a bidding war above asking price. Apparently that goes on in California, and I guess maybe it was going on in St. Louis for a period of time. So, yeah, I guess we could all move down there and sleep together, hopefully.
Is Greg back?
Together? Can't we just go down there and enjoy the weather when it is nice? But when it's not nice, it's really horrible.
Greg back to his place, or has he assessed anything? Or
he got back to Tampa and had almost no damage at all.
Oh, wow.
Are you kidding me?
That's outstanding
Tampa
news.
largely got spared.
There was hardly any damage in Tampa. I think they got 2 inches of rain in Tampa.
Yeah.
God, that must have moved toward the end, because that was like...
It did. It made a right turn.
That was like where, like,
yeah.
death was supposed to be, like, at a forefront
Yep,
there,
and
and
then
it
it
just
turned.
slid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the South got most of it.
Fort Myers and Naples, like...
Well, Sanibel is destroyed.
That thing, that looks...
The bridge over there got knocked out.
The Wizard, basically, I don't want to say he lives there, but he spends a lot of time there. And he was sending me videos. I guess he was sending them Saturday night. And he had to get over there by boat. And it's unrecognizable, you know. For those who have gone there, it's actually tough to see it. It's tough to see it because I guess the best way to describe it is the palm trees and the grass is all gone.
Yeah.
Are all gone. And so, you know, a restaurant that we go to at least once every time we're down there, he walked up to it because there's no way to get around. So he's walking around this island and shows the restaurant, and I didn't even recognize it, you know. The restaurant that we always go to. We had our 10th wedding anniversary last year. It's where we went for our wedding anniversary. It literally was the building is out in the Gulf.
Yeah.
It was just swept out in the Gulf. I don't know when that place will get back. I'm sure it will, but it's going to be a long time. I think they're going to put barges where the bridge is to get people back and forth to be able to use it.
Let them walk across the barge.
I guess drive across
the
them.
barge.
Yeah. So
probably take several barges.
You can give your thoughts. I guess people are loading up the phone lines here. 636-9004-TMA. EDF can handle, that's the Steve McKee North County phone lines. The EDF text inbox. EDF can handle all of your company's security and surveillance needs, from surveillance cameras to access card readers to facial recognition software and everything in between. EDF's fire division is now testing, inspecting, and maintaining the fire system on all commercial kitchen and restaurant hoods. If you have visibility to your company or place of business's commercial fire alarm panel and system, email fire@edf-rg.com, and we'll have a technician come out and provide a free evaluation of your system and offer the most competitive contract pricing in the market. You can also check them out anytime at edf-rg.com, the official commercial fire alarm services and solutions provider of TMA. That is Engineered Designed Facilities. Wait, are you really not going to talk about the Mizzou game? That's from the 3.
My God, we got until 10 o'clock. You think we're not going to bring it up?
Back off, Truman.
You know what they did? They lost.
Yeah.
Doug, what is the lead? Is the lead Dahmer?
No.
It was, actually. So
The lead is a
we'll
loss.
move on from that. What's second?
Is the lead the Cardinals? Is the lead the National League wild card playoff picture? Is the lead Missouri, Georgia? Is the lead Illinois now gets coaches fired? Illinois is legit, man.
Yeah.
It just sucks that Illinois lost to Indiana.
Yeah.
Because they should have won that game, and they'd be undefeated, right? Am I right?
Yeah, I don't know how bad Wisconsin is. They look pretty bad.
Well, they
Got
fired
their coach
Paul Chryst last night. You get coaches fired every weekend now. That's
he got
college
sacked.
sports.
Yeah.
It's like the NHL. Or is it the Fighting Tigers against Georgia? I don't know. I know that I am more interested in Missouri football than the average TMA listener, and certainly the average 101 listener. So I try, just like golf, I try to take my biases out of the discussion and give the people what they want. And, Doug, I don't know what the people
Well,
want.
I think the Missouri football game is probably more fun to talk about. In this market, I'm sure the Cardinals have the bigger audience, but what else do you say about that? I mean, we've all seen it play out. We know how great they were. It's come to an end now, and they did it right. They had a great ceremony. People got their bobbleheads. They were lined up around the stadium.
7:15 in the morning. There was a line.
Is that right?
7:15 in the morning, bro.
Not everybody got them.
7:15.
What do you mean? You talked to people who went in line and didn't get them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was 100 people. Like I said, 7:15, 7:30. There's 150 people already lined up.
Only
and the game is
because-
4 hours away, 5 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're going to get into Mizzou here, but there was one person that texted me, a friend of mine, said that they had like 20 tickets they bought. And they just had 2 people in line, and they kept going in, and when they came out, they gave the other one a ticket, and they took that person's line. So they basically kept butting in line in their own spot. And they said, you can't do that. He goes, I got a ticket. He's saving my place. And he went in, then he went.
Were there riots down there over there?
There were people. They kind of
heated.
They kind of curtailed the language that was used, but they got into it. They said he started calling us names, and we were trying to call ushers, saying he's got tickets. What are you going to do? Back of the line. That's what you do. But then he kept walking out with bobbleheads, throw them in a bag, and then back in.
Yeah, as an usher, I would love to be that guy to look at him and go, y'all get in the back of the line after you enter. And waste 20 tickets worth. I would love that because they can't say anything about it.
Well, if you bought the tickets, it's your right to get that many bobbleheads, but you should start over again at the end of the line if you got the first one.
I don't know how you make money off them. I mean, these weren't like these $3 up in the rafter tickets. There were no tickets for $3 for the last game of the year.
Dude, they're selling those 3-piece collectors right now for $780. They're on eBay for $780. This is why I hated the Winter Classic. This is why I got kicked off the Blues Lounge. It's people that use fun events like this to price gouge fans, and it's just sickening. It's terrible. Give everyone who buys a ticket one. I cannot believe we have the first 30,000, and you can't provide another 15,000 with billions of dollars in revenue coming in each year.
Doug, we'll take it to the people. The people will decide the lead at 7:33. Cardinals, Missouri, ILL,
Dahmer's not the lead.
That's a sneaky play.
My work day. What else have we discussed so far?
Plowsy's heating his panties.
Plowsy's heating his panties.
I got an argument at the vet.
Just text it in. 3-1 and Plowsy get an argument at the vet.
Yep.
All these are potential 314-881-TMA5. And you can text in your vote. It could just be one word for the lead. Now, the guy who's upset about us not talking about Missouri continues to text in. He says, I'm sure Missouri would have been the lead. I'm sure it would have been the first 5 minutes if they lost by over the spread. That is from the Missouri fan who's mad that I guess we haven't talked about Missouri. I'm not sure.
I think I disagree with
that. What's the matter? They still lost.
Yeah, I don't know.
They covered. Who cares?
You're an SEC football team looking for spirit wins. Now, I'm saying they did play very well. I was blown away by that defense. But a loss is a loss, and there's no spirit wins. It's not like you're an FBS team and you battled 3 quarters against Georgia. I mean, you're in the SEC. But again, it was a phenomenal game by Mizzou.
Didn't you know it was going to turn out just like that?
You felt it the entire game, I feel like. Even after the fumble up 10-0 or whatever.
I hate that I feel that way, too. That the team that I've rooted for my whole life, I just knew no matter how big a lead that they would get, that something terrible was going to happen at the end, and they would lose. Yeah, you just knew it.
I would say the Gallup poll so far. Jackson, can we make this a poll on the app?
Sure.
How often do we use that?
Rarely.
Okay. And usually it's really dumb. The ones that we put on usually.
Shot at the Gallup polls. I would say Missouri has won by a landslide, but interestingly enough, Plowsy at the vet is second.
I'm more interested in the vet.
One, but I mean, it's not a mind-blowing story, but it's certainly an argument that ensues.
Harrison's brother Master says preferably Mizzou, but anything where Ken doesn't talk.
Oh.
Well, you guys go
Cardinals.
While you're voting, I'll go get coffee. How about that?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Because you had your feelings hurt?
No, I'm out of coffee. So go ahead and you can all vote and bitch at each other, and I'll go get coffee. I'll be right back.
Do we still want this?
It's not going to be a topic.
Yeah, put the Gallup poll. What does it matter?
We still want the poll? All right.
Yeah, put it on it.
This is the exact opposite of a silent protest of what.
So my options are Dahmer, the panties, Plowsy at the vet, Mizzou, and the Cardinals?
Yes.
Yeah,
all right.
I believe those were the
word.
Yep, there it is. Doug. The Gallup poll has been created, and he is not happy about it. Tell us about Marco Bertorelli, if you would.
Well, this is where you go for your nitro gloves. A lot of people need those gloves. The pandemic, unfortunately, still rearing its ugly head every now and then. If you work in the medical field, Bertorelli Cutlery has got those nitro gloves that you're going to need if you work in food industry, if you work in the sanitation industry, anything like that where you need your hands covered, you got to be clean. Bertorelli Cutlery is right there for you to supply all those great nitro gloves. Can they sharpen your knives? Sunrise from the east? Of course they can sharpen your knives. That's what Bertorelli's done. They are the gold standard when it comes to having your knives sharpened. They've also got a great retail area there in the front of the store where you can buy some very interesting kitchen gizmos and gadgets and some of the best knives you'll ever see, including those Wusthof knives. Bertorelli has got you covered. Good place to do some Christmas shopping. Mom or Dad would love to have some of those supplies in the kitchen that Bertarelli has got. Also, they can sharpen up all your tools. You got chainsaw, axe, knife, lawnmower blades, you name it. You bring those blades to Bertarelli, and they'll make those tools work like they did 20 years ago. Bertarelli also does repair and maintenance on slicers. If you have a commercial-grade slicer that needs work or looking to buy one, Bertarelli can handle that. They'll have you slice them like the Dickens. It's Bertarelli Cutlery. They're at 1927 Marconi Avenue on the Hill. The website is BertarelliCo.com. Bertarelli Cutlery, the longest-running sponsor on this here presentation.
There it is, Bertarelli Cutlery. Stratum Structural Systems, waterproofing and foundation repair. Think local. Think Stratum. With Matt Ford and Brett Groman. If you are dealing with any waterproofing or foundation repair needs, call 314-620-8153. Stratum is known for their integrity and authority with over 5 decades of combined structural experience in basement waterproofing and foundation repair for basement crack repair, foundation peering for settling homes, bowing or rotating wall repairs, basement waterproofing services like sump pumps, interior and exterior drainage solutions, egress window installation, concrete leveling and downspout extensions. It's Stratum Structural Systems, Chesterfield, Missouri, Columbia, Illinois. They are Better Business Bureau credit with an A+ rating. They are the best, and the word is out about Stratum in St. Louis. Go to Stratum Structural Systems. When you call 314-620-8153, let them know you are a TMA listener, and you get $100 off your repair project. Sound Story is up and going. Doug, you have one this week. Is that correct? Nurse Jackson, is that? I thought
Wednesday.
You texted me.
He's leaving Wednesday, isn't he?
I'm leaving Wednesday night. That's Wednesday at what time?
10:30.
Oh, you doing the show on Wednesday? I'm sorry.
Wait a minute.
Where's my nurse?
I thought you were here on Wednesday and you were leaving after the show.
I might have to fight somebody. Who am I fighting?
Probably me.
It's probably me. I think I saw that. I've messed it up. We're flying out Wednesday night, so I can work on Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome back.
Yeah. It's nice to be back.
I'll change up the show prep notes for Wednesday now.
That'll give you one extra day of vacation still left.
It will, and I'll use it to take 2 weeks.
Now, is Channel 4 flying you out with equipment? Like you doing some man-on-the-street stuff like Thursday, Friday? Having a weekend package?
They actually asked me to be part of a Cardinal pre- and post-game show.
Sick.
But I'm going to be on vacation the 1 week that they asked me to do something. Now I'm going to be gone. Otherwise, I was this close to going full-time, just working 40 hours a week there, maybe 50.
So Doug will be doing the Sound Story, I guess, on Wednesday. And now that people start getting these for the holiday season, you can get yours at mysoundstory.com. Doug, me, Learn from KC95 and Action Jackson, all available at mysoundstory.com, whether you want to do it with your brothers and sisters and give it to your parents for the holidays, or you want to get it as a gift certificate to have your mother, your father, your grandmother, your grandfather's story told, or your own. Make sure you get it at mysoundstory.com. You get the gift certificate right now. It's Sound Story at mysoundstory.com. All right, let me take a look at the votes. Jackson, what do we have here?
Mizzou is certainly in the lead.
Wow, how about that?
Yeah, it's actually, no, I'm sorry. There's a three-way tie between Mizzou, Plowboy at the Vet, and the Hito Panties.
Is the Hito Panty
Interestingly, the Cardinals are just nothing.
Yeah, they got 0%.
How about that?
Yeah.
That's kind of perfect, like.
Now Mizzou is not. The Plowboy at the Vet is currently in the lead.
There was a surprisingly large number of Plowboy at the Vet texts, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's at 36%.
Yeah, congratulations.
Well, again, with the Cardinals, I just don't know what else you say.
You got to get ready for the Philadelphia Phillies, Doug. That's what you got to say. Their magic number is 1, and Aaron Nola is pitching today, which means he will be on full rest Friday at Busch Stadium, when the Cardinals and Phillies play at 9 in the morning or at 11:30 at night.
9 in the morning?
To be determined.
8:30 first pitch. God, that would hurt my arm just thinking about that early.
Yeah, the Brewers blew it yesterday.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So the Phillies' magic number is 1, and there are no tiebreaker games anymore.
Right.
So the Phillies won the season series, and therefore, if they win any of their games in Houston, or if the Brewers lose any of their games this week, it is over. And that means it's the Cardinals and the Phillies, and I believe that's locked in. The Padres have a lead over the Phillies.
Is it 1?
The magic number is 1.
Okay.
For the Phillies to be in the 6th seed.
Mm-hmm.
Doug, so It'll be the first time the Phillies played in the playoffs since Ryan Howard grounded out to end the 2011 NLDS with Chris Carpenter and Roy Halladay on the mound.
Yeah, and Mariners are in the playoffs for the first time.
2001.
Jeez, yeah, they were the longest running team that hadn't been in there. I like to see teams get in that haven't been in before.
Yeah, they're a good team. I like what they did, Marmol, with taking out all three guys. I thought, the game, blah, blah, blah. You're in the playoffs. I get it. It's kind of running down to the end. But Pujols hitting a bomb. I thought there was some storylines. I would have loved to went to that game. I mean, but the 45-minute or an hour delay for the speeches, I wouldn't have been a fan of that.
You wouldn't?
Hell no.
You don't want to hear him say farewell?
I already think baseball is too long in general. But if you add another hour to a farewell tour, it might be a little much.
You didn't want to see these guys get their farewell moment?
But they haven't all year.
Oh.
And they have 18 bobbleheads.
Wow, you are not high on this ceremony.
I think they just wanted to say thank you.
I love when they took them out all at the same time. That's fine. But I thought the ceremony could have been for another day, not at the game.
How many paintings of themselves can they get?
What? Doug, Pepper and Jeannie not happy about Albert Pujols out here.
I think 7 of their stadium farewells, the team gave them paintings of themselves.
Really?
I really love, this is the most TMA thing ever. We put this poll up to see what the lead is. Dead last is Cardinals, and then we talk Cardinals.
Deep into it. All right.
And not only that, but we rip their asses. We rip Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina.
What happened
and
yesterday.
a team that won the Central Division with 90-plus wins.
Yes.
And Albert Pujols hitting his 702nd home run to tie Babe Ruth in RBIs in his career. We're going to rip his ass.
Get him out of there.
We don't
We've
care.
seen enough of him.
We don't care about your 20-year career. Just play the games and get to the playoffs.
Man, these guys, when will they leave?
And then you take them both out of the game at the same time with Wainwright? I mean, you're not trying to win that game? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I didn't like the effort that they
I thought
gave.
it was a great thing they did where Wainwright came out, Molina came out, Pujols came out. They all came out at the same
I
time.
think they were probably hoping Waino could go a few more innings because Albert was going to bat the next inning. Would have been fun to see him bat. But as it is, he ends hitting a home run in his first and last at-bats at home as a Cardinal.
I mean,
So
even
that's
if
kinda nice.
even if they get swept in the playoffs, you can't write the Albert Pujols story any better than how it ended.
Yeah.
With your last at bat being, tying Babe Ruth and RBIs, you hit 700 a week ago. I mean, that's just icing on the cake for sure for that career.
Guys, I don't think the guy who whined on the air to get a cake for his 30th anniversary in radio should complain about any Cardinal ceremonies.
Oh, there was that. Yeah, I forgot
did
about that
forget about
irony.
that.
What does that got to do with anything?
There was
Well,
a
you wanted to
clear
be
bag
wanted
there.
to be hailed and trumpeted yourself.
No, I said, how many paintings can you give the guy? I mean, every stadium they go to is a painting of themselves.
Okay.
How about something like a car or something?
How about
Too
nothing?
expensive.
These guys are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. They don't want a commemorative second base bag that they're going to shove into their storage unit in Imperial. I mean,
They don't live in Imperial.
they got maybe storage units there. I don't know. They live
I don't know
local
that
down-
they have a storage unit in Imperial.
And I feel bad for Wainwright if he does retire at the end of the year. He got nothing. He didn't get the retirement.
Well,
tour.
he was quoted a week or two ago as saying there's value in just being the guy who steps away without having to go through all the stuff that Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols have gone through here over the last couple of months, because some guys don't like it. I don't know. The way he's pitching, by the way, that's a little concerning.
Oh, this might be it for him.
I
It
don't know.
just looks like he's hit a
Well, he
wall.
was pretty good up until a month ago. He was about as consistent as anybody they had.
Right. Yeah, there's a soundbite of him talking about that. He goes, I went from looking like I was going to be the number one starter in the playoffs to maybe not even getting a start.
Yeah, I'd hesitate to start him
Oh, they're going to start.
if you really don't need him. I don't know that he would start one of those first 3 games.
And by the way, the Padres are only a game up on the Phillies.
Yeah. I think right now I'd probably go Michaelis, Quintana, Flaherty
Wow.
for those first 3.
I'd go
Wow,
Montgomery
wow,
third, I
wow.
would go.
I think that's what I'd do based on what they've
Season's
done
on the
last
line,
couple
and you give the
weeks.
ball to Jack Flaherty. Look
I
at you.
think so.
See, I like the other way around. I'd do Waino, but I would have Flaherty ready. Like, the great part about that is you have 2 starters and a lot of long relievers that will pitch in those games. I mean, these are make-or-break games. It's not like the regular season in July. I would have Waino, but I would have somebody constantly throwing in the pen. You don't want to have it get away from you, but I think you give Waino the ball. but you give a short leash on all these guys. Super short.
If you're talking about has Wainwright earned the start, yeah. Has he been much better than Flaherty over the course of 6 months? Absolutely. Is he pitching better than Flaherty now? No way. No way. Flaherty,
for the record,
gives you a better chance to win, I think, right now.
The splits for the month of September, Wainwright with a 6.38 ERA in 5 starts. Montgomery with a 4.67 ERA in 5 starts. Flaherty with a 4.00 ERA, and that is in 5 starts. Michaelis with a 2.32 ERA, and that is in 5 starts. Hudson's pitched in 2 games. He has a 0 ERA. One of those was a start. And Quintana is by far and away the best in the month of September with a .89 ERA. So there you go. There is the math for the month of September.
I don't know if you lose the locker room if you don't give Wainwright a start.
That's what I'm
Or
thinking.
Montgomery. I don't know how that plays. But I'm saying if I was the other team, I would rather face Adam Wainwright or Montgomery right now than Flaherty or Quintana or Michaelis.
Yeah, Wainwright hasn't pitched like a memorable game. So, I think it might change in the playoffs. I'm not saying he just throws in the towel. They've already made the playoffs. He just ho-hums it. But, I don't know. Postseason Wainwright's a different animal. I just think you got to give him the ball. Especially if this is his last year. I think he deserves a postseason start. Even if it goes 1 1/3, 2 innings, what have you.
Well, yeah, I would think that you're going to use all those guys, whether he's the starter or not. I don't know.
Dave in St. Peter's in caps says, "Talk, fight, Tiger, or Plowsy at the vet, you bastards."
I love it that they're like, what's best about this is they're just salivating to brag about a loss, and we're not going to give it to them yet. We're making them wait 48 minutes, and we may get to it at the tail end.
Let's just ignore it the whole day. What'll they do?
All right, Jackson, I got to go down to the balloon party. Oh, by the way, Mizzou lost. Talk to you tomorrow, everybody.
I do love that they are freaking out that they want to talk about
If Marmol starts Flaherty instead of Waino, the Husky B-Fibs waiting 6 hours in line for a freaking bobblehead will absolutely lose their minds. That's from Big Tough. Doug, is that what they're called now, the Husky B-Fibs?
I don't know. It's probably accurate.
Oh, yeah. Dorothy and Larry on the Cardinal 24/7 page will just absolutely flip a... they will go crazy.
Nobody loves Wainwright and respects what he's done more than I do. I'm just saying if your goal is to try to win in the playoffs, I think right at this moment, as we sit right now on October, whatever it is, 3rd, I think Flaherty probably gives you a better chance to win a game than Wainwright.
When did you start hating Wainwright?
I don't hate him.
Seems like you're throwing him under the
bus. No, I don't. He's one of my favorite Cardinals of all time.
Oh, he's my favorite for sure. Not even close. Personality is the best.
Now, if you get past his first round, now you're playing best of 7, then absolutely he's going to best of 5 is the next round. Right. Well, still he'd probably still get a start because the other guys wouldn't be on full rest.
Right. That's the thing. Burns is starting Wednesday for the Brewers. They have Woodruff tonight. Nola is starting tonight for the Padres, for the record.
I kind of thought they'd give Wainwright a start or 2 off here at the end of the year to try to rest his arm a little bit.
They should have. But they also wanted the swan song. The 50-minute speeches.
Well, you could have had that.
They put a lei over his neck and give him a painting. Those are more important than postseason
He didn't get that, did he?
Oh.
No, I'm just saying that's typically what they've been getting. Who is in charge of the swag that is given?
To the players?
Pepper and Jeannie are back.
Like, let's say you get a big-ass wreath that you want to burn and throw away immediately. Like,
why would he burn it?
Is it the PR guy that has to lug that around the private plane? Do they, FedEx it to your house in Imperial?
They don't have houses in Imperial. These are Central Corridor cats.
Clip that off. That could be a T-shirt.
That is a good T-shirt, though.
Central Corridor cat.
You gotta have a good design.
CCC. Central Corridor cat.
Man, that's a perfect shirt.
No, when Lou Gehrig broke the record for consecutive games, they gave him a wreath of flowers.
Well, there wasn't the money in the game then that there is now.
Took it home. His wife predicted he would get a wreath of flowers.
Really?
And he brought it home, and they started throwing the flowers at each other.
Did you see that in Pride of the Yankees?
Yeah.
And you think that was more documentary than Hollywood movie?
Guys, please put me down as a Husky B-fib. Thanks. That's from Flip Wilson.
Boy, they all got boners yesterday at the end of the speech, and he said, I got to thank the St. Louis fans, best fans in baseball. He's talking about us. Yeah.
Boy, this Pepperoncini's never hated a ceremony more.
Well,
I didn't see it, so
if you're standing out at 7:15 for what a 12:45 first pitch for a bobblehead,
yeah,
I have a lot of things to say. Not one of them is, man, you're the best fans.
Oh, don't you think they probably are the best fans?
It's 1,000% accurate, Doug.
For the numbers that they show up in for every game all year long, they do it.
It's no question. You look at the
positive towards the players. They're not angry. They support the team. They go overboard at times, but it's hard to argue that there is a better, more loyal fan base.
I think the Cardinal Cowboy just really kills it, though.
Oh, just one guy can destroy it for you?
The Mizzou fan is unhappy. No one cares about the Cardinals outside of the olds and the rednecks from Arkansas, Southwest Kentucky, and Tennessee that think a trip to this crime-ridden city is a vacation. Talk Tigers or Plowsy at the vet.
I don't think most of the B-fibs are from Southwest Arkansas. Well, I'm sure they have some around Harrison, up in there.
Cardinals are a big network all through the Midwest.
Yeah.
They're not
I say we keep talking about the Cardinals just to anger this kid.
Let's talk about the bullpen. Who do you got? Who's the first
one? You got maybe
Why don't you stop in from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. with me?
Yeah, or just take over from me from 10 to 11.
Yeah, Jackson will be happy to let you run the board down there.
Oh, I bet.
Maybe the best closer in the game right now is what you have.
I like stirring that pot, and this is really funny to me.
Something about Helsley that you haven't enjoyed this year?
He's the best pitcher we have.
Oh, well.
What's it going to be like when Hell's Bells play on Friday night against the Philadelphia Phillies?
I just wish
Cardinals go a win away from advancing to the NLDS.
If he's going to make the march in dramatic fashion from the bullpen, I wish there was more to the song other than just a bell ringing and then nothing for 15 seconds.
Well, I wish it was more original because, it's been there, done that. You know?
Who did that before?
Didn't Hoffman do it for San Diego?
I don't know.
Yeah, that was his song.
He only did it for 20 years, so I guess maybe.
How about
Doug, you just took some shrapnel.
I never went to a Padres game to hear the sound that they played. I was never there.
Guys, 2 months ago, Pepper and Jeannie complained they didn't get enough attention for their retirement. Now they are bitching that they're getting too much attention. It's unbelievable.
Well, at the time they weren't. They were getting nothing.
Now it's too much.
Now they're getting crap gifts.
If I'm retiring, I'm talking to all the major league teams and go, look, you guys pull all of your money together and buy me like a Rolls Royce and pull it up on the field the last game.
You don't think that would be in bad taste to tell people what you want? I'm going to want a roll, so you guys get together. You work it out, and y'all chip in tens of thousands of dollars.
The San Diego game, surfboards. Wainwright lives in Atlanta. There's no ocean in Atlanta.
Well, I don't think any of them are surfers.
Just a Why give them a surfboard?
You don't surf if you're a Central Corridor cat.
Central Corridor cats. The Cubs social media team released a drone video on Wrigley on Friday, and it was addressed to Cubs fans as the best fans in baseball. I don't know who Tom Ricketts thinks he is, but all I know is Cubs fans weren't sitting in their Camrys eating free Big Macs at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning after Pujols' majestic shot. That's from little Tommy Tribbins. He's out there in the parking lot.
It was a good video, though.
It was actually the best video I've ever seen in terms of, what they were portraying and, just going through the city. Whoever the drone operator was going through, the back of the scoreboard, and there were people he's weaving in and out of. That was one of the best videos I've ever seen. Hate the Cubs, but they do have a great stadium and a city around it.
This is a world-class zag. You hate the Cardinal retirement tour, but you love the Cubs drone video.
Suck it, Licks. How about that content, bro?
Not as good as our drone operator for our video.
Dogtown T?
Yeah, but no, we had a drone out at Plowsy's jogging thing.
Yeah. Those things are so crazy, the quality of video that you have with that. It saves, that's most of the time you have to rent a helicopter to get, footage like that.
Yeah. Not anymore.
No, but it was a good video. I mean, the Cubs suck, but
Now, speaking of videos, Chris Nagel, Doug, has agreed to face the 5 of us a week from Wednesday. This is in pencil. We are getting, but it advanced, as Buck Swope would say. Chris and I spoke on Friday evening, and it would take place at the moment at Meadowbrook Country Club. Michael Wellington will be on his bag. We will have multiple videographers there documenting it, similar to Barstool going up against Kevin Kisner. And we'll be playing from the tips, just like Nagel. And Jackson really likes our chances. For the record, Chris played there on Friday. We were talking, and he said he shot 62 from the tips.
10 under?
That's 10 under.
Yeah, that was concerning.
And the course record is 61, which he holds. So I like our chances.
I didn't know about the score.
We have no
10 under with this group.
From the tips, we have absolutely
we have no shot whatsoever.
That's not true.
No,
That's not true.
Yeah, it's true. We have no shot.
No, that's not true.
Well, we can't shoot a 62. I know
As a fivesome,
we can't shoot.
We get close.
I bet we can't shoot 67 as a fivesome.
I think 67 is the number that we
Guys'
get.
enthusiasm is really rubbing off
I'll
on
try
all of
my
us.
butt off.
Well, we're playing from the tip, so we have 2 drives we might use. And if one of you guys don't hit a good drive and you're in the rough, and we're done with that hole.
Not necessarily.
You're going to use one of my plows or Doug's drives from the tips?
We can scramble.
Tim, no pressure.
Well, if you guys just put one down the fairway, just swing easy.
Doug, we need some fairway finders, and then we'll just see if we can fire some bombs that will still be 130 yards back of Chris.
Yeah, you're still be.
Hey,
even
Chris, we're shooting here.
Even if you or Tim bomb a drive, perfect drive, you're 50 behind him.
Over is the number on that.
Yeah, 130.
We're a bunch of dog-faced pony soldiers. We don't have a shot.
We're doing it for fun, but we have no shot of winning.
Yeah, the fact that we get to play Meadowbrook, it'll probably be the only time I ever play it. And Chris is a great dude. It'll be great weather. I'm excited for it.
Are you?
That 62 when I saw it was just absolutely demoralizing because I thought 67 would be about what we would shoot.
Tervis Parrish is not happy. Why are you guys even showing up if you don't think you can win? It's from Tervis Parrish.
I said we'll have fun.
I'm with Tervis.
Why do these 2 guys show up to play me for $200? They have no shot of winning.
Can we yell in his backswing or something?
It's going to be the first tee shot we see on the hole number 1, and we're going to be like, well.
What do we hear?
It's
going to be embarrassing. Yeah, we better hit before he does. If he hits and then we follow it, it's going to just be horrible.
Stephen Wildwood says, I would like to up my bet to $5,000 on Nagel.
Yeah.
I would too.
I'm not betting against that.
If we won,
Doug, this is an inside job. Where is the confidence?
Well, look at us.
I mean, didn't the Barstool guys beat Kisner, right?
A lot of single-digit handicaps.
Think so.
They probably hit him 250. My problem is off the tee. I think the putting will
you can
have.
outdrive Kisner, so we wouldn't have a problem there.
Off the tee on the tips, man, it's like I agree with Iggy. There are going to be some that I don't reach the fairway. And I'm not talking left or right. I'm talking just not reaching from the rough to the fairway. I don't think. There's going to be a couple I'm not even going to make.
Yeah.
Guys, wouldn't it make sense for the Deus to play staggered tees? Tim at the tips, Jackson at the blues, Doug and Iggy on the whatever.
Senior citizens.
It would take a long time.
No, we're not doing that.
I think it's one.
Yeah, it's bad. That's really bad for the video content of it.
Yeah, you have to wait.
Everyone on the same tee box is part of the show.
He doesn't shoot 62 every time, you clowns. That's from the Loomster.
No, and if he shoots 67, he'll win. If he shoots 68, he'll probably win.
Casper's confidence is hilarious. Your team has a combined cap of 80, probably a 100 course cap. You dolt. That's from Harrison's brother Master. And Doug, they want a piece of our asses now.
I'm telling you, like it's 5 of us playing as one. So
but we're no good.
We have to have strategy like that.
Yeah, course management.
Yeah, we have to be able to have a proper order. Follow instructions, not like caddy stand where he's like, hey, you should go right, and I went left, and I went OB. Like, I'll listen to my playmates.
Your playmates.
I
The only strategy is try to hit the ball straight. Just try to get it going in the right direction.
Accuracy
That's
is
it.
100% key in this.
Yeah.
I mean, Nagel's going to shank some OB, I would think 3 or 4
Probably
times.
not.
Okay.
No, he doesn't. Like, that's the problem. Like,
He'll
the
score
margin
shit.
for error is 0 when a dude just shot 61 trying to beat his own
Shot
course
62.
record. Or 62.
I know. That's why we have 5 shots at it.
5 beautiful ones.
You know what? When I was talking to him on Friday night, he said, I shot 62 and I still lost $40. I got to find a different game. So, Doug, that shows you the power of the handicap system.
Sure it does. Is it possible that this fella doesn't understand match play like Tim?
I wouldn't think he does. I mean, I know he's played in a few U.S. Opens, but has he ever played in a Fan Page Club Championship?
No. So that's where our advantage is. We can fool him.
He doesn't play a lot of match play.
We can trick him.
He probably doesn't understand the game.
Right.
No, I'm sure he doesn't.
He doesn't need
only one person and one person alone who understands match play.
So when he's putting for eagle on a par 5 from the tips, when we're trying to get on with our 4th shot,
we're hacking it from the rough, 140 out.
2 putt for bogey. That will send a message.
Mm-hmm.
Tim has shot a 68 before, so he needs help from you nincompoops on 6 other shots. Thanks. That's from Flip Wilson. I'm legit excited to watch this, fellas. That's from the Illsider. How about that? You guys 100% have a chance. You will not win, but you have a chance. That's from the Loomster. How about that, Doug?
I like that. I think that's where I'm at. Like, I don't think we'll pull it off. But outside of off the tee, I think it's fair game with 5 shots.
Well, we have a chance if Wellington screws up and, we get done with the round. I see there's 15, 16 clubs in his bag. Then we call a penalty and match is over.
15 clubs in Nagel's bag?
Yeah, maybe forgot to take out an extra wedge or something before the round.
Yeah.
We need to hack into his rangefinder.
What if one of us has more clubs in the bag than we should?
Guys, the real question is, could Nagel hit an ocean-sized green from 15 yards away?
We should do that.
On flat ground 9 out of 10 times. That's from Kevin's brother, Jack, and his last name is Demoff.
Well, I guess you didn't understand the bet. I just had to hit a shot 40 yards 9 out of 10 times. That's what I did.
40 yards to the green originally.
No, it was to
then
the
it
pin.
became
How many
pin.
people do you know that, all right, what do I have to the front fringe?
Well, we said 40 yards away from the green.
Well, go back and listen to the tape. Wellington said, I said 40 to the pin, right? And Wellington said, yeah, 40 to the pin.
Yeah, he collapsed late in the argument.
So just go ahead and listen to the tape.
Originally, it was 40 yards to the green.
I said I could hit a 40-yard shot. The 40-yard shot was to the pin. Simple as that.
Well,
People
someone
stop
come up
complaining
short.
about the.
You didn't have the length.
One
on
came
a
up
couple of
short.
shots.
One came up short. Everything was pretty much pin high.
No, they were not pin high. They absolutely.
Well,
were
go back
not
and look at the
pin
video.
high. I don't think you know what pin high
Doug,
means.
if you could,
Pin high was
go
the
back
same
and pull
yardage.
the audio and then go back and look at the
Same
video.
yardage,
and get
you're
back to
pin
us.
high.
Same yardage as what?
As the pin.
Right, and your balls weren't all lined up.
They were
right
all
pin
fairly close to 40 yards.
There was one that barely made
Yeah,
it.
I said
That was
most
only
of
one.
them.
Yeah,
Most
that-
of them.
You aren't playing Wellington, you moron. That's
Well, you
from
give
the
me the caddy.
old Appleton stepdad.
Who said I was playing Wellington?
Didn't you say we get mad at Wellington?
You say Wellington might see that he's got 15 clubs in
Well,
his
Wellington's
bag.
caddying for him.
Correct.
Correct?
He's a
He
caddy
gets
to
a
get past
caddy?
us?
God.
Gosh, no wonder he's
I
going to
think Tim said Wellington's going to be on his back.
He's
So
gonna be on his
Wellington
back. I think
forgot to take
Wellington
away.
and I are going to be on the call while he's caddying and I'm playing. Just like I was on the call with Wellington for Iggy, shocking the world from however many yards it was.
Yeah.
40-yard shot. That's what it was. God almighty.
I think there is a chance we don't use one of my balls,
Oh, you'll sink a putt.
Let's think a putt.
that's what we need.
Well, you're good out of the sand, so we'll keep you there.
Yeah, well, at least 5 shots.
You'll
Hopefully-
just put him in the bunker
Hopefully we're not
before
hitting
we
on
even get to the green.
sand.
Yeah, right. If we're picking the bunker
Yeah,
shot
we-
at the best shot of the 5, we've already lost.
Well, it's live.
Yeah.
I would tell you it is.
I would take a greenside bunker from 10 yards away than like a 50-yard shot.
And that's fine, but just remember, you decided that. When I hack it about 10 times trying to get it out, that was your decision.
Iggy, if it's 40 to the pin, you'd need to have a measurement from the pin for each shot. The bet was from 40 from the front of the green, and you cannot do that. That's from the 314.
Well, it wasn't. I mean, can we bring the tape back at maybe next
Doug,
hour
pull
and
the
listen
tape.
to it?
Okay. Yeah, we
Because Wellington said 40 to the pin. I mean, I
Right
don't
at
know
the end.
anybody. I don't know anybody on the PGA Tour anywhere when you say, "What's the yardage?" 20. 20.
20.
20 to the fringe. I'm not looking at the fringe. I'm looking at how far to the pin.
Maybe
40.
at Meadowbrook.
Nobody measures distance to the front of the green.
I think we should do it at Meadowbrook.
Well, it's
After
a
our
bit-
7-hour round.
Just like I didn't measure it to the back of the green. How much do I have? Okay, I can hit an 80-yard shot.
It's a big difference, though, if you're on a big green and the flag is 15 to 20 yards away from the front of the green. Now, when you say you can get on from 40 yards off the green, now you're really only 20 yards off the green.
Someone tell the deep-fried, brawny paper towel man to quit lying about being pin high. I watched the video. That's from the Bennetville Bear.
Well, there was one short, one almost went in, one barely. So I would say 3 out of the 10 were short of pin high. 7 were pin high or past pin high.
Pin high. No.
Well, go watch the video.
I was right there.
Well, you were off to the side.
I was right there.
We'll watch the video.
I don't need
I'll go shot by shot if you want.
Okay, we'll watch the
We'll
video.
get to Mizzou eventually.
We're trying to filibuster so we never get to Mizzou.
Well, it's the Munganass St. Louis Acura Alton Toyota 7 o'clock hour. Munganass, Doug, you get your whips from there. Tell me about Munganass. StLouisAcura.com, AltonToyota.com.
Once you find a car guy, a car dealership that you can really trust, you think, I'm never going to go anywhere else, and that's where I am. I think that's where most of us are now with Munganass. Whether it's getting it fixed, whether it's shopping for a new car, they will do it all. They've got me driving the Toyota Highlander Hybrid from Alton Toyota right now. What a sweet ride that is. It's big, it's roomy, it's quiet. Sometimes I don't even know it's on. I'm getting 35 to 40 miles a gallon on it. I can't recommend it highly enough.
And the service department, I think, is huge. You can buy a great new or used car there, but also servicing your vehicle, there is nobody better than Munganass, hands down.
Clean. That service area, you walk in, it's like a restaurant. It's so clean in there. Now, you're probably not going to want to eat off the floor, but you probably could.
Yeah, should.
I don't know that that's really what they're in business for, is to serve you food off the floor. But they keep it that clean to it, so where somebody turns a car, you hear the tires squeak. It's so clean in there.
Love it.
And they crank it out, too. Your car's not going to be there forever if you need service on it.
Crank. StLouisAcura.com.
Yeah, they got some great used cars, and you can order a new car there right now. They've got it all. They've been so nice to us. Thank you, Munganass.
Did you know it's Munganass Burkhardt Alton Toyota now?
I did.
Oh, congratulations, Jamie.
Yeah. How about that, Jamie Burkhardt?
Jamie, what's up?
Munganass Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. How do you do?
Well,
I think it's been that way
fine.
for a while, but Jamie's just kind of a guy who never even said anything to me. How about that?
Yeah.
I think it should be Burkhardt Munganass.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
No, either way, it's great.
It's not just...
We love Jamie, but we love the Munganass, too. Peter Munganass.
Doug, this is the cleanup.
Ryan Cyber, what up, Sibes?
It was my way of saying we love Jamie. We love Munganass, too. So either way you go with it, you're gonna win.
Iggy, you just cleaned that up really well.
Yep. It was so subtle that you would never pick up on it. All right, it is the Munganass St. Louis Acura Alton Toyota. People want to hear about the plowboy at the fence.
I don't get it. It's not a great story. It's
Maybe we won't get to Mizzou.
I did get in an argument, but it's not like...
No, we may not talk about Mizzou.
You get it in the 9:15.
I tweeted out a video of a false start by Georgia that was not called. I haven't looked at it to see. It was 88,000 views yesterday. I was even debating whether or not to post it. I'm like, I don't even know if people see what I saw, and like guys who hate Mizzou will say I'm just looking at it through a Missouri fan's eyes. Let me see. It's at 115,000 views now.
Would that be considered viral?
Doug, is that considered viral?
I don't know.
But it's not original content, so I don't know if you can go viral. I guess you did. It is blatant, though, and it was terrible called game. I mean, the Georgia, throat chop on the lineman like that, it was really bad.
So, anyway, the reason I bring it up is I put $100 on Missouri money line, which was paying $2,000.
At what point?
Before the game.
Oh, before the game?
Yeah. And now, I want to make it clear, I wasn't going, I think they're going to win, but I felt like,
for the value,
yeah, might as well.
You didn't have a sweat.
And so I was looking throughout the game. Stephen Wildwood was texting me throughout the game, and he's going, did you hedge? And I said, well, I didn't say. I just said, I haven't. But the reason is Georgia was the favorite the entire damn game. It finally got to a point, I think at one point in the fourth quarter, where Missouri was minus 125 and Georgia was minus 105. But Georgia was still minus 365 even in the third quarter. So I couldn't hedge. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I could, but it's reducing my winnings. So even if I'm like, okay, I want to make sure I win $200, I've got to bet $730 on Georgia. And so it just reduces it. And it's, so anyway, point being, I was monitoring this thing awfully closely throughout the course of the game. We will discuss it on the other side of the commercial break. It is 8:11 in St. Louis. This is the Ryan Kelly Morning After from the Michelob Ultra Studios.
Here's Action Jackson with 3 more ways to get TMA content.
Get the TMA mobile app and enable notifications so you don't miss a thing. See our content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Stream us on the TMA mobile app and at TMASTL.com.
Thanks, Jackson. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on 105.7 FM HD2.
The Tim McKernan Show podcast, featuring long-form interviews with people from the world of sports, politics, and entertainment.
And our guest today, Bill McClellan. Thanks so much for coming in.
Hey, my pleasure, Tim.
What's up, Caden?
Hi, how are you?
Joe Buck, our guest today.
Man, it's like I haven't seen you in years.
More than 500 episodes and counting, and it's available wherever you get your podcasts, including the TMA STL app. Get the app now at TMASTL.com. Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPN-TFM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day.
Biggie's Restaurant and Bar has been a staple of the community for over 30 years and is serving your favorites like the steak sandwich, waffle fries, and so much more. It's not just the food that's rocking. With a full bar and patio, Biggie's is the perfect spot for lunch, dinner, and a little laughter. Biggie's original hours are back. Open 11 a.m. till midnight, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And 11 a.m. till 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Check out the full menu at biggiesrestaurant.com and stop in today.
This is Tim McKernan. I'd like to tell you about a company I started just a couple of years ago and they still own. And it's called Sound Story. It's essentially a 1-hour interview that we do either in person or via Zoom with mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers. They come in and they tell their stories, education, growing up, and of course, family stories, the wisdom that they can share with their loved ones for generations to come. It's an audio heirloom. It's Sound Story. To learn more, go to mysoundstory.com. There's a lot of common sense and Western wisdom like don't squat with your spurs on and always drink upstream from the herd. And there's also some Western wisdom that's less common, like never steal from a bear, which you can't make for yourself, or a man doesn't know his worth until he's eye to eye with a rattlesnake holding the toad. I'm sure there's a good lesson in there somewhere, but there's one lesson that's perfectly clear. Fistful of Bourbon is an award-winning blend of 5 straight bourbons and as smooth as a banker on Friday. Get wise, pick up a bottle today. Don't be a damn fool. Please enjoy responsibly. Imported by William Grant & Sons in New York, New York. Hey, this is Tim McKernan. I'm here with Ryan Kelly, the HomeLoanExpert.com. Man, Ryan, the home buying market is competitive as all get out right now.
You need every leg up you can get. You need every advantage you can get. And that's what we give you at the HomeLoanExpert.com. We have a 10-day closing guarantee. That's right, 10 days. If that doesn't make your offer stand out, not sure what will. We also have lower rates, over a quarter point lower than the national average. We don't just talk about low rates, we have them. And at the HomeLoanExpert.com, we have programs for almost anybody. Got questions? Ready to get pre-approved? The HomeLoanExpert.com.
Okay. Hot takes.
Yeah.
Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini.
And now the Pepperoncini Show with Darren Atkins and Ken Strode. All right, take it, fellas.
There it is. That's the open.
Pepperoncini.
Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. We don't know what it is. We don't understand the name. We just know it's stupid. And it's available every weekday, featuring Iggy and the Plowboy. Apparently it's some kind of a podcast or something. Available at TMASTL.com and on the TMASTL mobile app. Whatever.
Here's Action Jackson with 3 more ways to get TMA content.
Get the TMA mobile app and enable notifications so you don't miss a thing. See our content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Stream us on the TMA mobile app and at TMASTL.com.
Thanks, Jackson. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on 105.7 FM HD2.
Hey, if you like the morning after, check out Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. HD1, by the way. It's sports talk with Tim McKernan and Action Jackson from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. each weekday, right after the morning after. It's the worst named show in the history of radio, but the content's pretty good, so check it out on 101 ESPN or get the podcast on the TMA app.
The Ryan Kelly Morning After
On KPNT HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis.
Doug, it puts it in perspective. What took place at Faroe Field on Saturday night. Welcome back, Ryan Kelly, Morning After from the Michelob Ultra Studios. It is the Appliance Discounters, 8 o'clock hour. Appliance Discounters, your hometown appliance source featuring major brands like GE. Well, the holiday advertising has already started. I saw that yesterday while watching football.
You saw Christmas ads?
I did. Amazon, yeah. Oh. And you see it in some stores, actually. So for the purpose of those of you interested in taking care of holiday shopping in the early going, go to mysoundstory.com and get a gift certificate or book your sound story with your family to give to your parents or grandparents. MySoundStory.com. Doug handles interviews. I handle interviews. Learn from KC95 handles interviews. Jackson does as well. It's MySoundStory.com. Get a sound story for the holidays. It is a gift that lives forever with your family's story in their own words. Here on the Ryan Kelly Morning After, we encourage you to get involved by texting in 314-881-TMA5, the Engineer Design Facilities text inbox, and you can call in to the Steve Schmidt Kia of North County. Phone line 636-9004-TMA and email in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. Design Air is coming by my house today to do a furnace check. Seth asked me, he said, hey, go online just to see for yourself how easy it is to do it. So I went to designairservice.com, and within 24 seconds it was booked. It's that simple. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling. And the weather is cooling off. Sweet mother of mercy, Doug. The St. Gabriel School Picnic is this Saturday, as you know.
Oh, it is? I thought that was during the summer.
They moved it for COVID reasons. I see a high of 60 on Friday, a high of 61 on Saturday, a low of 36. And that's with the sun out, Jack. That's with the sun out, Jack. So get it taken care of now at Design Air Heating and Cooling online at designairservice.com. The official HVAC provider of TMA and the Tim McKernan Show podcast. Doug's a client. I'm a client. Say, friends, why don't you become a client as well? And we would love to tell you about Fistful of Bourbon, especially on a Monday morning after a tough loss for the Fighting Tigers. You're either happy that they lost or you're sad that they lost. Well, enjoy a little fistful of bourbon. There's a lot of common sense and Western wisdom, like don't squat with your spurs on and always drink upstream from the fan page. And there's also some Western wisdom that's less common, like never steal from a bear what you can't make for yourself, or a twink doesn't know his worth until he's eye to eye with a rattlesnake holding the toad. I'm sure there's a good lesson in there somewhere, but there's one lesson that's perfectly clear. Fistful of Bourbon is an award-winning blend of 5 straight bourbons and is smooth as a banker on Friday. Get wise. Pick up a bottle today. Don't be a damn fool. Please enjoy responsibly. Imported by William Grant & Sons, New York, New York. All right, you want us to talk about the Missouri game? Let's talk about the Missouri game. I shall start. Last week, I think I was the final man. I was the anchor of the conversation. I will start here, and then I will yield the floor to the gentleman from Kirkwood and the gentleman from Canton, Illinois, and the gentleman from Horton Watkins, who was in attendance on Saturday night.
Oh, did he go?
And we were just talking in the commercial break, and Jackson said it was a pony.
Gotta look like a great atmosphere.
So, with that said, I thought Saturday night was the best night of Eli Drinkwitz's career as Missouri head coach. And here is my reasoning. And I'm going to isolate it to the game itself. And to make it clear also, the play calling, specifically the 3 passes at the end of the fourth quarter and then not going for it after doing that, I completely disagree with. But, you know, as far as a program progressing, that was incredibly impressive. It's still a loss, and they had a lead, and they were in position to win that game. But they don't have the talent that Georgia has, and they lost their best wide receiver. Their best wide receiver at this moment is not Luther Burden. It's Dominic Lovett, and they lost him, and they dominated the trenches. That's what Kirby Smart said at the half when he was interviewed on the sidelines by ESPN. They were dominating the trenches. I mean, what in the world? Dominating the trenches against.
Yeah.
I mean, holy crap. But the biggest thing that impressed me the most, and this is a credit to the head coach, the staff, and the players, is that after you lose a game, and I don't care that Auburn is as bad as they are, you lost a game like that. Heartbreaking that they absolutely should have won. They came out against a team that wasn't, I don't think, overlooking them. They messed around with Kent State the week before, and Missouri made them have trouble offensively. That is a credit to Eli Drinkwitz and to the Missouri players for the way they performed, in particular in the first half. So from that standpoint, it's incredibly hopeful for me as a Missouri fan who certainly was not high on where things stood going into it. Secondarily, I could not have been more wrong about the Missouri defense. I thought the Missouri defense was a byproduct of who they've played. And yeah, Auburn again is bad, and you saw what they did against K-State, although that was a byproduct of their offense being poor. But what they did defensively to Georgia, and Georgia didn't get into the end zone until the fourth quarter. I mean, that is damn near unheard of for that team. That's a legitimate defense, and that's exciting, especially considering, remember where it was this time last year. Remember how bad that was? Yeah. Holy crap. So that is exciting. But I want to make this clear. You don't celebrate moral victories. That was one of the things, I don't know if I said it here or on 101 ESPN, but I loved that Gary Pinkel, after Missouri nearly beat Vince Young in Texas in 2004 or 5, whatever year, and he said, yeah, we don't do moral victories around here. Not to say that they're celebrating it as a moral victory, but that was a game that understandably people expected Missouri to get blown off the field. The spread kicked off at 31.5, so it kept going up and up and up. And I thought what they did on Saturday night, the way that they performed, in particular defensively, was incredibly impressive. Now, from a macro standpoint, the fact that they have the quarterback situation that they have is an indictment of the head coach. There's no way around it, especially when he is the offensive guy. The one touchdown that Missouri had, he nearly overthrew. And the tight end was wide open. It required, I believe, a bit of a one-handed catch in the north end zone, the famous north end zone. And so when you're down and you have to move the football, because if you're giving it back to Georgia, Georgia had scored on every single possession. Well, not every single possession, but they had been on a streak of scoring. It just was clear that Georgia had changed their approach offensively, cleared some gaps, and then they were on the attack. And then you saw that from the first play from scrimmage and that Georgia had in the second half. Missouri got the ball in the second half first, that they were now controlling the line of scrimmage. My thought was if Missouri doesn't score here, they're not getting the football back. And so what he did with those 3 plays, and Gabe DeArman asked him about him. Gabe's going to join us coming up at 9 o'clock. I was really surprised by that, considering what you have at quarterback. None of this is personal on Brady Cook, but he wouldn't be playing quarterback for anybody else in the SEC, and I include Vanderbilt in there. And it's obviously a disadvantage. So for Missouri to go out like that and then punt, and Drinkwitz's explanation was he wanted to take a chance, and if they didn't move the chains, that they would get the ball back if they punted. I thought in the moment, I realized 4th and 10, what are the chances Missouri converts that with Brady Cook at quarterback, with the Georgia defense now buzzing around the field? I don't know. What would you give it? 15% maybe, something along those lines?
You still got to try it,
because what are the chances that Missouri defense stops Georgia's offense? Basically a 3 and out.
Which they hadn't done the whole half.
Exactly. And so I thought that was misguided. The hurry-up offense after Schrader's run to the 1-yard line, which led to the false start, misguided. Those are things that are on Drinkwitz. But big picture, the fact that they responded from that Auburn disaster, which could have led to a spiral, gives me some reason for hope, and more so the defense and the fact that they've been able to turn that around, both with the defensive coordinator and the players they now have in the field. Keep in mind, there's different personnel out there. That gives me some semblance of hope. So there is my official review. Doug, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Drinkwitz probably gets another year out of his career based on that, I think. There'll be no discussion at all of letting him go at the end of this year.
Well, you changed real quick. Wow, really? Just like that.
I think so. Based on that, I think that it gives a lot of people hope what the ceiling is, what the potential is to play with the number 1 team in the country. I was very happy to see them be competitive in a full stadium, in a night game with a big national audience. I'm sure people were all over the country were turning over and hoping to see Georgia get beat by this upstart Missouri team. But it is disappointing that you just knew that it wasn't going to happen, even when they were ahead. You just knew, and I didn't like In the fourth quarter, about 8 minutes to go, the Tigers have the lead by 3, and they're still running a hurry-up. I know it's a long way to run the clock down, but I think they still could have killed another 2 minutes off the clock at that point. There's times you got to stop doing the hurry-up and play the clock a little bit. Not that was the difference of the game. It's just something I didn't like. But at least you know it's there. It's possible. They didn't get run off the field, and that's kind of what I thought I was going to watch. I thought I was going to see another horrible loss and defeat and say, who cares about Missouri football? But this gives you hope that is a team maybe on the upswing, and that when they put it together, they can play. Cook seems to overthrow everybody.
Absolutely.
Overthrows everybody on the short passes. It seems like that's something you ought to be able to correct in time, but they haven't done it yet. And when they get behind, as they did, you feel like they got no shot now. They cannot come back. They don't have a quick strike offense where they can go down the field in a hurry with a couple of passes. They don't have that right now.
Yeah, I think I'll play devil's advocate. By the way, the defense were dogs, man. Like, that defense was one of the better defensive game plans against a team like that I've ever seen. So, like, credit to Missouri. And that stadium looks amazing packed. And that's not a shot at, like, that. That's how it should be more consistently than ever. I know, Jackson, that atmosphere probably live was way better than what I was watching on TV.
It's electric.
It was jumping. I still think Drink has a ton of blame. Missouri would be 4-1 with an offensive coordinator. I mean, and your one loss would be that demoralizing Kansas State loss, but now they're a top 15 team in the country on the rise. I think the frustration I would have as Missouri fans is you give games like this away. You shouldn't have been in the game. I understand you were a 31-point underdog, but you're in that game, and I just didn't see the willingness to want to win that game, especially with 3 passes that had no chance of happening, and then you punt on fourth down to give it to them. No offensive coordinator, no quarterback. I mean, if Drinkwitz went the defensive coordinator, he gets a ton of credit for this win or for this game. But honestly, the Achilles heel is play calling, clock management, having a decent quarterback, calling the right plays at the right time, and I still don't think Missouri is there. The defensive coordinator did a great job and game plan perfectly. I still think the offense is lost at times. And again, not getting Luther Burden involved, still injured, but he dressed, he played. So I think there's a lot of negatives still to bust out of it, but I could not believe watching that game how well Missouri defense played. They were tremendous.
The game definitely wouldn't have been as close if you hadn't had this All-American kicker booting field goals from 50 yards. How many 50-yarders did he have?
He was incredible.
Yeah.
And so much of it, like, if I had to isolate, like, that Schrader runs up the middle, 60 yards, gets tackled at the 1. It's understandable. Georgia's really fast. And you have the lead against the number 1 team in the country, and you run a hurry-up offense. Like, your offensive line just made great blocks at midfield to get your running back down to the 1, and you're going to make them sprint up to the line. Place is going nuts. You get called for the false start, which happened earlier in the game. You get backed up because you have no offensive scheme, and you have to kick a field goal. You miss out on 7 points, you get 3, and they lose by 4. Like, you want to look at one thing, it's not reading the room, not understanding clock management on Drinkwitz's part. And, that's a problem because the defense played out of their mind. The 2 turnovers at the beginning of the game is the reason Mizzou was in it the entire game. That really shook Georgia up. They couldn't get back into rhythm. That got the crowd into it. That is the only way you're going to beat number 1 Georgia if you do something like that early in the game, and you have to take advantage when you can, and that was a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah. I wonder if coaches who run this hurry-up offense don't sometimes forget the fact that guys do get tired. Even though they're 20 years old, some of them get tired running up and down the field, especially if you weigh 330 pounds, and you might need to take the foot off the gas just every now and then.
But I think what Jackson is saying as well is, sorry to put words in your mouth, but it's not just the fact that they're tired, it's clock management in general. You have that lead. The crowd's not going to lose its anticipation for the next play if you wait 15, 20 seconds. Georgia are men out there. If they do get tired, they'll bring in another 5-star and run them into the field. So I don't think it was a situation to where you're looking to catch Georgia off guard. If more so, you're probably going to catch your offensive lineman slipping. Right. I just think clock management with a lead is always going to be Drink's issue, and the stubbornness of not having an offensive coordinator. I don't think if Brady Cook on this game. Honestly, I didn't think he played terrible.
He wasn't terrible, but there was times where he made bad plays.
Yeah, but you can't
simply bad plays.
But that's 4-down territory with 4.5 minutes to go. I think you run a normal offensive set there. I think you run the ball with Schrader. I think maybe you do a bubble screen, maybe a quick slant.
Well, there wasn't 4.5 minutes left at that point.
With the
when they were at first and goal at the 1.
No. I'm talking about the three passes in a row and then a punt.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that
5 minutes to go and there was 3 timeouts left.
Yeah.
3 timeouts. You're running the ball pretty well. I mean, you're gashing on it.
They were running the ball, and the turnovers early were really key to getting Mizzou into this rhythm. Mevis was great, but it was a couple. And they did a good job, like what I've been screaming about all year, is just throw it deep and pray for pass interference.
Yep.
Like they got like a bunch of yards a lot just doing that. And if that's how you got to do it, that's how you got to do it.
Devil's advocate, and the defense did play well. I didn't see it coming. Well, you can't even beat Auburn, who just sucks. And they come out and play the way they did against Georgia. If they go down to the Swamp next week and get beat like 38-10, are we changing our tune again?
About what?
I think. Yeah.
They played so well. This defense is great, and then they go get their ass kicked.
This is an analysis of Saturday night.
Yeah,
that's
but if they go, but is it digressing? You said okay. The way they came back.
What do you mean?
Well, if they go and give up 38, 42 points to Florida next week, what happened to the defense that played so well against Georgia? Was it just an aberration that they
Aborigine?
Aborigines?
The guys in Australia?
that they played well one game and then they go back and if they get their ass kicked by Georgia, do we say, well, it was great? What happened to it?
Yeah, you need to build off this momentum. I don't think they're going to beat Florida, but the Florida
10-point underdogs for that.
A win against Florida. Like I said, it's annoying because they should be 4-1 with your loss being against a top 15 team. Like this should be like a spectacular start to the season. The Auburn loss is just devastating with how it happened. But again, there's a lot of positive to take from Georgia. I'm kind of with Iggy, though. Like, you don't want to take a step back against Florida. I think you need to see some improvement week to week rather than an isolated incident like we had at Georgia.
Oh, yeah. You can't just come close to beating Georgia and say, all right, we had a good year. That was just...
But just for putting it out there, and I realize it's 100% hypothetical, and to me, my evaluation of Missouri, when you know that the season isn't going to be anything special, is based on... as Gabe said at the outset of the season, college football, especially when you're talking about 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds, it's not a book. It's basically like 12 separate TV shows. And so one week a team will look like garbage, and the next week they can look great. And we may have seen that with Missouri. But I'm sure Illinois fans are going, my God, how did this team that just beat Wisconsin in Madison the way they did lose to Indiana? Yep. And that's so frustrating, but that's the nature of the psyche of being 18. If you can take yourself back to that, you're got some volatility. So with that said, if Missouri, Doug, finishes with 4 wins, Vanderbilt, New Mexico State, and then loses, you now are of the opinion that because they played Georgia the way they did, that they will bring him back, and are you of the opinion that they should bring him back?
I think they will bring him back now.
Okay.
I think his stock just went way up just having that game on his resume now.
I don't like that at all. I think if you lose to Vanderbilt and your 3 wins are New Mexico State, Abilene Christian, and Louisiana Tech, you can bring up the Georgia game.
Well,
but that means
I said Vanderbilt and New Mexico State, so you'd be a 4-win team at that point. Just for the purpose of the
my point
premise.
is, if you win 3, he should be out regardless. But I think 4 would save him for sure. But if you lose to Vanderbilt, still, they may be playing better than what they have 5 or 6 years ago. They're still the absolute butt asses of the SEC, and I think that puts a cherry on top of. And depending on how they lose going forward, if they get blown out by Florida and absolutely routed by Vanderbilt, then I would be shocked.
Yeah, if it goes that far south, you'd have to rethink it. But right now, as we sit here right now, not knowing how the rest of the season's going to play out, I would think he's safe for another year.
But
now.
Doug, you did say, and I'm not trying to bash you because I understand where you're coming from, but you said a 3-win Eli team should be out. So if they lose to Vandy, and now I think
it'd be on the table. I think they would have to consider it for sure. If they just win 3 games all year, yeah, I think they'll have to consider that. I'm not pounding the table saying I want him fired. I want him on it. I think that any Power 5 school in the third year of a head coach, if you just had a 3-win season, the coach would be in trouble.
It blows my mind because this was not the takes we were getting when Barry Odom was close against Georgia, which is super weird because they were a high-flying offense. They scored a ton of points, and he had terrible clock management at the end of the game, and so did Drinkwitz. I think we're giving Drinkwitz way too much credit for what the defense did in this game. That's just my opinion. Drinkwitz didn't coach his coach his lights out. Doug, come on. The D coordinator have full control of that defense. I don't think Eli is calling up third down blitz packages. It's just not. So to give Eli credit for still a abysmal offense with terrible last-minute play calling decisions and terrible clock management. Again, a great game by the defense. But to say Eli saved his job with this game, what did he do?
Well, he was
it wasn't the best play calling game.
He was the head coach of a team that almost pulled a huge upset over the top-ranked team in the country.
So when do we give coordinators credit?
Well, the coordinator gets a lot of credit. He gets a lot of credit, but still, the head coach is the one who's going to ultimately be judged by what the whole team does.
If they scored by 40, if they scored 45 points, Cook has 3 or 4 touchdowns, their offensive plays, you go, wow, that is very creative. Then absolutely pat him on the back and give him another year. But he gets another year because he hired a defensive coordinator who had a great game against Georgia? Nah. I don't think this helps if you lose to Vanderbilt and only win 3 games.
Well, the most frustrating thing to me was on the one touchdown they scored, that offensive play was the best play Drinkwitz has called up all season. It was a good decoy slant with Burden to a wheel route to the tight end, which Brady Cook almost overthrew. But that's what's frustrating is that there's good stuff in there, but the continuation of running these weird plays where they ran a triple option, got it back to the quarterback, and there was nobody downfield. It was like a setup for a bubble screen when the entire defense is already on that side of the field.
And that's the play that got Lovett hurt, right?
Yes. I was like, if you're going to do that, you have to have someone deep and fire it to him.
I'll tell you, one of the greatest, it flies so under the radar, but I don't know if you've ever heard this from football coaches when you've talked, when you are having to run it, let me put it this way, you don't see Nick Saban having to run a lot of fake field goals or punts. And it was, to me, one of the best tributes to Missouri's defense that Georgia had to run a fake field goal. That I was like, holy crap, they know. And Kirby Smart, not only at halftime but also after the game, he was talking about it. He's like, you got to give credit to Missouri on defense in particular, but also on offense. That offensive line, granted, he was just kind of throwing the ball up there, but they did open up some holes in the ground game, and defensively, they just owned the line of scrimmage. That is stunning. And my credit to Eli Drinkwitz is the coach either has his team ready or they don't.
Yeah.
And he had his team ready after they were, emotionally devastated by what took place at Auburn the week beforehand. And whether I'm high on him or not, or whether I think he's, a lot of smoke and little fire, I still have an obligation to call it how I see it. And he deserves credit, as does the staff and the players, for coming out against a team that most likely will be in the mix for the national championship this year. It doesn't tend to the big issue, which is the quarterback situation, which is stunning to see in the SEC, especially if you watch SEC football throughout the day and take your pick of whatever game, minus a Vanderbilt, that you have the quarterback play that you have in that conference. But my God, the quarterback play Missouri gets, and they were on the verge of beating the number 1 team in the country. I'm not sure Georgia's the best team in the country, but nonetheless, they're the defending national champion with the number 1 ranking. This isn't the defending national champion LSU thing. This is more impressive to me than beating LSU and beating Florida. Now, I realize some people might not think that way because they wound up losing, but that LSU team was a shell of itself, and Florida was garbage last year. They just have the brand names. This is a brand name and a team that Missouri, they had them scared. They ran a fake field goal, for God's sakes. They knew they had to do something to get through, and that is something I never would have thought I would see. So isolating it to Saturday night, that is incredibly impressive. They were there to beat Auburn the week before. Auburn is, I can't imagine Brian Harson's around this time next month. I have no idea how that would be possible considering their schedule and their problems offensively as well. And Missouri's got 2 wins against 2 teams you expected them to win, and they have the loss at K-State. And K-State has showed the college football volatility. I mean, they went to Norman and beat Oklahoma. They beat the hell out of Missouri, and after they beat the hell out of Missouri, they lost at home to Tulane. So that's the college football volatility. So it's a case-by-case basis. But that, to me, was the first time, I don't know, to take your pick from whenever, but that was an impressive moment to get that team to bounce back. Now, with that said, Missouri had a terrible loss to Kentucky in 2018. I think that was one where we were at my house watching it, and Gangster Pete was nearly weeping.
Was crushing.
And if I'm not mistaken, the following week, to Barry Odom's credit, he had his guys ready, and they shocked Florida at the Swamp. So,
Gangster Pete was an emotional mess.
He was. But, so my point being that doesn't necessarily mean that a guy gets to keep his job forever. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just isolating it on my analysis of the game and a credit to the defense and to the head coach for having his team ready. But also the head coach has some play calling issues that continue to be a headache. And the quarterback situation is surprising would be kind. A huge disadvantage would be more concise.
I honestly am going to surprise a lot of Missouri fans here, but if Missouri,
what are you going to say?
If Missouri comes out and beats Georgia, and that's in the Swamp, am I correct on that?
Yeah, yes. We'll be playing Florida in the Swamp.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Florida. Excuse me. I think you talk about a contract extension for Drink at that point because it's back-to-back really solid weeks with a lot. My thing is like
this is sarcasm.
Are you being serious right now? Or
I think I'm a little serious.
You think you're not sure?
Because
you want
it's a little serious.
Well, I said if they win 3 games and lose to Vandy, I still think he has issues. But if you beat Florida and obviously beat Vanderbilt as well and get to 5 wins, I think that changes my whole view on it.
But you said if they beat Florida, give them a contract extension. So what if they lose the rest of their games the rest of the year? You take that back?
I think you got to talk about it. I don't think they'll do it during the season, but I think that's when you have discussions and thinking about keeping him long term. You can't have a lame duck coach and a lame duck season on your fun. Like you just in
is
college
this the last
football,
year of his contract?
Next year is his last year, so you don't want that kind of looming over his head. The program's head, obviously. You're recruiting. You don't know who's your coach going to be long term, so they'll do it this offseason. But if they beat Florida. Maybe not convincing, but if they just beat them and they had a great week against Georgia, they are. So I think it's possible. But, yeah, my thing with Drink is if they win 3 games and they digress and lose to Florida and Vanderbilt, that's when you talk about, changing. But if they beat Florida and what they did with Georgia, that momentum is there, and I think that's when you start to talk about it. I'm being partially serious here. I can't believe it. So I am a Drink basher, but... if you do back-to-back weeks in the SEC, one of which is in the Swamp.
Just for the record, his contract I'm reading here it goes through January 15th, 2026.
How is that? He was hired on a 4-year deal, right?
He signed a 6-year, $24 million term sheet on December 8th, 2019. The contract not signed until May 18th, 2021 actually runs through January 15th, 2026.
Oh.
But for all intents and purposes, a 6-year deal. His annual base salary is only $400,000, but he has $3.5 million in additional non-salary compensation, an amount equal to the sum of 4 different $887,500 annual payments. So,
I thought for sure I read that it was a contract year next year was his last year. That's surprising.
Something in there I thought was the first 2 years, if he got to a bowl game one of those years, or both of those years, his salary went up. But he didn't get to a bowl game both those years, did he? That was part of the contract, I thought. It was like another $800,000.
Well, then screw that contract extension after Florida then. I just assume that because I hate...
But it was a good take nonetheless.
Well, I hate having a lame duck year for a coach because it makes no sense for recruiting purposes.
He's locked in another 4 years after this
That's insane. I did not... Why did it take 2 years to sign? Or why... So it didn't kick in until 2021?
He was teasing.
Yeah, that's a tease.
I don't know.
Doug, good news. Mr. Fix is on.
Line 2.
Come on. Stop, dude. Call on a Wednesday.
Yeah, Mr. Fix.
Hello, Fix.
What up, Fix?
Don't tell me what to do, Darren. Come on, I thought we were tight, Darren.
Oh, I'm kidding. I like doing show fodder. What up, Fix?
Yeah, it's just time for some general banter. Happy Monday, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Glad you're getting to hear my voice. How's it going?
Okay.
Oh, they're going to
it's going fine. Have you got any hot takes?
I guess Missouri's going to back their way into a bowl somehow. With, everybody's on the Missouri.
Well, they better hurry up. They have to get 4 more wins, right?
That was cute. That was cute when they thought they were in it, and Georgia was like, "Wait, we're Georgia. Let's win this game."
Not that funny. Not that funny.
Good for you, Doug.
No, I got a good kick out of it. I was at the one of the local casinos had a poker event going on. Tim, I'm sure you were aware of that.
Got the email?
I was not, actually. I just don't play live poker in St. Louis all that often anymore. I don't play
That's
poker.
cool. Yeah, the Ameristar Poker Open was in town this weekend, so there was little fishies everywhere, and Daddy did really well over the weekend. So.
Oh, of course you did. Of course you were a huge winner.
Iggy's leaving the studio. Iggy's had enough.
No, I'm going to go get. I didn't get coffee last break.
I didn't fold aces pre-flop at any point, though, Iggy.
That's a good callback.
Even if I thought I was going to get it in bad.
Yeah, well.
Not that funny.
I think that's a good callback from Fix, but still.
Iggy's gone. He has officially exited the Michelob Ultra Studio.
Have a good day, Kenneth. We'll talk to you later, buddy.
Okay, he's out.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
You ran him right out of the studio.
Yeah, that's okay. We don't really need him. He does get jealous that I don't ever involve him in the conversation like all the other reindeer.
Okay.
So I can't wait. Here's a couple things. I can't wait for after the call. I'm sure he's on thesaurus.com right now, Spicy Wiener, thinking of a text full of word vomity adjectives and then some sort of real creative way that you think I should die. So can't wait, Carlos. We're sitting on pins and needles. But yeah. So tell me what else has been going on.
No, you're supposed to call in with the hot take. We don't just start doing general banter at this point.
No, actually, when I was screened, that's exactly what I told Jackson, and he seemed very thrilled that I was about to participate.
Jackson, you were thrilled when you heard from Mr. Fix?
Yeah, that's a big assumption there, Mr. Fix. Thrilled isn't the word I would use. Content, passively interested, I guess.
I like that.
Thanks,
that's
bro.
Very Horton Watkins of you. Appreciate that. All these big words and phrases, they make me happy. So what else? I guess I'm sure you guys have been talking about Missouri, right? How everybody.
Well, yeah, right when you called in. We've been talking about Missouri this whole hour.
Wow, that's good. I can't believe it. So is that you think that's their best effort all year? You think that's the best we're going to see from Missouri?
Well, it's certainly their best effort of the year, yeah.
Sky's the limit from here then, right?
Well, I guess if you can almost beat number 1, you ought to be able to play with anybody else.
You would think, except Abilene Christian. But
well, they beat them.
Yeah, they did. But no, I'm glad you guys got to take my call this morning. I ain't really been doing much. Just kind of chilling around the restaurant. Typical Monday morning, we get like a little action here and there.
Well, what'd you do over the weekend besides play poker and win thousands of dollars?
Of course, I worked. I work 7 days a week, Doug. It's
at the restaurant.
American dream. Absolutely, the American dream when you're working at yourself. I even pop in on my day off just to make sure that all the sprockets are spinning as they should be.
Which restaurant is this that you own?
Don't do it, Fix.
Come on, Doug. You going to try it every day?
Well,
Tim McKernan knows. Tim McKernan's got a little St. Gabe's, little 63109 code of the streets thing going with me.
It's a secret restaurant.
The restaurant is a secret.
It's hidden by palm
it's not a secret restaurant. It's quite visible, in fact, and it's on a main thoroughfare in St. Louis, Doug.
Okay. That could be just about every restaurant in St. Louis.
It could be, yeah, absolutely. It could be. It's on a main thoroughfare, and it's visible, and we serve American food.
Chipotle.
Okay, like every other
Why don't you
restaurant.
spend some money, be an advertiser, cut your own commercial, and you can hear yourself on the air every day?
I might do that. I might do it with you. I think you and I would have some good banter together. Yeah, but you always leave when I call, so I'd like to involve you in the show more, but...
Well, good luck with that.
I see.
This coming from the guy who has no problem inserting himself in the show at any point with a story that somehow relates to he and his life.
Well, the difference is I'm part of the show. I get paid to be part of the show. You don't.
No, that's fine. But yeah, they keep taking my calls, baby, and I keep generating that text hate, don't I?
Oh,
I'm
sure
becoming
he's
like
there.
a nature boy.
Yeah.
I am the Ric Flair of the morning after,
You're not.
probably,
Okay,
without the
that's
woos.
Okay, that's enough.
Without the woos.
All right, that's plenty.
All right. You
Okay.
guys got anything else?
No, we've kind of run out of patience with you.
All right. Well, thanks for taking my call. Glad you got to hear my voice.
Okay, pot him down. Okay, pot him down. Pot him down.
Like there's a Mr. Fix.
Okay.
Hey, guys, when Iggy starts pouting, he shouldn't be allowed to leave the studio. He needs to sit and listen to everyone else talk for a change and then be a little pout fish on the YouTube stream. Thanks. That's from Big Tuft.
How's that every time I'm not talking, I'm pouting?
It's when you get up in the middle of the show. And that's what feels like pouting.
It was a 30-second coffee break. I knew he was going to talk.
Well, the rest of us aren't taking coffee breaks.
Well, you could.
No,
we could all
couldn't.
leave. We could all leave and come back, and he'd still be talking.
If you're on a radio program, you can't just get up in the middle of it because you want another drink, soft drink or coffee or something. But you're not supposed to.
I was gone for 30 seconds. What did I miss?
You missed Lex's call.
Nothing. Well, I don't care for his call.
Hello, Mr. Pyramid Scheme. Quit bragging about breaking even at a $10 table at River City with that money scam from the West County Housewives without a Purpose Club. Get this mother effer off the air. Oh, and I don't have an adjective for you, but yes, my SLU English education does indeed have a verb for you. Die. That's from Carlos Spicy Wiener.
There. Nice shot, Carlos.
That's not nice.
Hey, Fix, I've got something for you to fix. Please fix an IV of poison directly into your bloodstream. Doug, that's from a little neighborhood kid, 8 years old on a dirt bike, little Tommy Tribbins.
You can put poison right into your bloodstream? I guess with, fentanyl or something like that.
This MFer is a shift manager at the Jefferson Avenue McDonald's. He owns nothing. Now go choke on a Big Mac. That's from Mr. Slay.
Okay.
Aunt Peg won the Fan Page Club Championship. What year did Aunt Peg win the Fan Page Club Championship? 19 or 20?
I don't know the years.
2 years ago.
Get this mother effer off the air. Get back to Plowsy making up fake contract extensions about a game that hasn't happened yet. That's from Aunt Peg.
I could have swore on my life that it was till 2024, but again, it was my bad.
It was Aunt Peg's birthday yesterday.
When am I looking up Drink's contract?
I don't know. I'm not looking it up
I'm
either.
only looking up dump truck photos, so that's it.
Well, if he's got that much time left on his contract, there will be no discussion about letting him go.
Then why are we? That's why I'm curious to why there's talk of letting him go.
He's probably got a buyout of $20 million or
It's
so.
a little easier when you only have 2 years or a year left on your contract as opposed to 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
Doug, caller Buzz, and he says, I'm currently getting a filling, and that Fix call was worse than this. Die, Fix! That's from caller Buzz. Hey, you can check out Mentality today at lowtusa.com. Go to lowtusa.com if you're dealing with low energy, low motivation, weight gain, muscle loss, fatigue, you're tired all the time, feeling anxious, moody, irritable, impatient, dealing with anxiety or depression. Those are symptoms of low testosterone. Get it treated at Mentality today at lowtusa.com. Mentality is a local healthcare facility specifically dedicated to helping men feel and perform at their very best. When you feel like you don't have the energy or drive to keep up with your kids after work, if you could just be and feel like you did 5 or 10 years ago, so you can be present with your family, be the father, husband, and friend you can be. That's Mentality, and that's what they can do for you. Go to lowtusa.com and check out Mentality. I did. I was checked out. Super easy, super friendly. That's Mentality online at lowtusa.com. Doug, can you tell us about our title sponsor? His name is Ryan Kelly.
That's exactly what his name is, and mortgages are his game. Mortgage rates continue to go up and down, even swinging over a quarter point. Rates are lower, though, at the Home Loan Expert. I call it the THLE, the Home Loan Expert. They have lock shop programs that can lock you in at any time. The Home Loan Expert can protect that rate for up to a year. You get locked in right now, and if the rate goes up, you don't have to pay the higher rate because you're locked in. If the rate goes down, you can change and get that lower rate. It's a win-win. A simple refi can lower those monthly payments if rates drop in the future. Credit card debt in the U.S. is at an all-time high, expected to top $1 trillion by the end of the year. Don't let those big banks and the credit card companies stop you from getting a simple cash-out refi with the Home Loan Expert. Pay off those credit cards, be able to miss a few months of mortgage payments also. Your home equity is at an all-time high. Do not wait. The home equity line of credit is an easy way to flaunt your equity without touching your current mortgage. The Home Loan Expert can answer your questions about the home buying process and help you get pre-approved. The days of multiple offers behind us now because it's officially a buyer's market now. Lower sale prices can make up for this year's higher interest rates. A refi with the Home Loan Expert can lower those monthly payments when rates come back down. It's home of the 10-day closing guarantee. Set yourself on the path to financial freedom. Remember, you marry the house, you only date the rate. TheHomeLoanExpert.com. Thank you, Ryan Kelly. Thank you, Sir Mortgage.
Once you get your home, get it insured with James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, 314-961-4800, or go online at carltoninsurance.net. That's James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, and he is the presenting sponsor of the Colonel, Gabriel P. DeArman, who is going to join us coming up in a matter of moments, getting the Colonel's perspective on the Missouri game. Doug, we'll see what he has to say.
Okay.
We'll find out what Drinkwitz's contract is.
Well, didn't we just read it?
I thought it was Gabe that
2026.
brought up the fact that he didn't think it was right to have Drink as a lame duck coach for next year. That's why I assumed that
Maybe what I read is wrong.
I don't know.
I just read that from I don't know what site I just read it from. But either way, James Carlton, 314-961-4800, or go online at carltoninsurance.net. If your insurance costs a leg and arm, call James Carlton, State Farm. Doug, you wanted to hear from Mr. Fix and Mr. Licks.
Oh,
Good.
Lord.
No, I think Licks is gone, right?
He just hopped
Yeah, he
off.
did.
Oh my God, Doug, you didn't get your
No, I didn't.
didn't get your
That
dream.
hurts a lot. Okay, what do we do? I guess general banter then now.
Mr. Licks is asking if he can call in.
No, it's like we're at 58. We got Gabe. Call around 9:40.
What is with callers with the last name that rhyme with dicks? Every single one of them sucks ass, and probably they toss each other salads.
Oh.
Just go away, you losers. Doug, that's the Warson Woods wacko who is unhappy with the callers on the show.
Yeah. Well.
God, he had such a high approval until I forgot what Wacko said, but he started bragging about his money, and that ruins it. I love Wacko.
Well, most of our listeners are fabulously wealthy.
Yeah, that private school conversation, everybody was at the edge of their seat because they all have those issues.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all had a couple good calls last week. I guess they were Aborigines. Hashtag digress. That's from show ombudsman and Colts columnist Brian Henson.
Colts columnist.
Aborigines.
I didn't see your article on them yesterday.
The Aborigines are the guys who live in the central part of Australia, the original people to the island.
Who now live in Central Corridor.
And played defense against Georgia.
That's correct.
Yep.
They get around. Central Corridor Cats.
Yeah, they were the first people in Australia.
Right. And then England started sending all their prisoners there.
And then they just took the land away from them.
The land down under.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the land down under.
Guys, one of the best parts of the show these days is listening to Jackson use a term that people over 35 don't know, and then hearing Iggy struggle with it. On Friday, Jackson used the term clean to describe Joe Burrow's suit. When Iggy replied, of course it was clean. Why do you think it was dirty? Jackson slowly began to explain what he meant, and then his voice just sort of trailed off, and he quietly murmured, just forget it. You can hear him breaking. That comes from Bill's gentle load.
Oh,
That's interesting that you bring. I completely forgot about that. But
It
yeah,
started with
that did happen.
It started with Zendaya. That's when Jackson first realized, I'm not going to win.
Yeah, I
in
don't,
these types of scenarios.
I'm old, so when I say Zendaya and I say I'm not familiar with her, she's just the most popular girl in the world.
That was a great one. One of the best.
I had never heard of a suit described as being clean.
Well, just anything like, oh, new shoes, those are clean. Like, those are cool.
Like Pete always used to say they were dripping. You know, when they wore wet, he said they look, or white, they said he looked fat. They look fast.
But Doug, wasn't Outkast So Fresh and So Clean on their 2003 album? So the term has been around for 19 years.
Has it? Oh, yeah.
Am I correct on that?
Well, I
Has
didn't hear
anybody
it
seen
then,
my nurse?
And I hadn't heard it since.
Warson Woods Wacko is just as bad as any of these losers who call in. That's from the 636.
Of course, 636.
I remember when Gangster Pete told us all he had a wet jumper, and I said, what in the world?
Yeah, wet jumper.
Jackson, are you familiar with that term?
Yeah, wet like I'm Book. Wet like I'm Lizzie.
Now, in the old
I
days,
thought it was
Now
wet
I'm-
like Splash.
now
and
I'm
Splash in
lost.
the net.
Splash with Tom Hank.
Yeah.
Wet like I'm Book.
yeah, because in our day, Doug, the girls wore jumpers, like dresses. So a wet jumper would be take it off, throw it in the dryer.
Well, the term that was confusing was
Wow.
probably wet, not the jumper.
Yeah, it was
In
wet.
reference to basketball, we know that would be
He had a
jump
wet
shot.
jump shot.
Doug, Mr. Licks is back.
Line 2.
No.
We got to wrap this up.
Oh.
He'll be
We have a hard out.
weather.
This is the times I wish we
Traffic
did.
and weather.
Wish we
We
did
got
have a
traffic and
hard
weather at
out.
the 2, so.
Do we have time for my call or not?
Well, if
go
you're
ahead.
brief.
Let's hit the whole early, though.
I'm reading through a really long statement Bryson DeChambeau made on Instagram.
That's fascinating.
Usually, old money does
Well,
that
why don't you
in
go
the
back to
morning.
reading it and call back later?
You have a hot take about it, or is that it? We just needed a status update on what you're doing.
I was just finishing up reading it. I like Bryson.
So do I.
Last week you were taking shots at charcuterie boards. I don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah, we don't like them.
Just spray cheese on my mouth.
Overrated.
I don't need a whole board to do that.
Yeah, on the golf match thing, honestly, Tim, you should drop the rest of the boys and just take on Nagel yourself. We would all
Let
be
me
more
play that
interested in that.
Well, we don't really care what you think.
Well, I mean, we don't really care watching you duff drives into the rough. I'd rather see Tim.
Well, then don't watch. Don't watch.
I might not. I might not.
Big loss for us. You better cancel the match. Dix or Licks or Fix, whatever your name is, might not watch.
Bo Nix.
Dicks, licks, and fish.
That's hilarious. Iggy, you could have a vacation every week if you wanted to. Just go to Creve Coeur Lake like the rest of the Hoosiers in Maryland Heights in Earth City and lay out on that cigarette-laden beach with a couple of Busch Light. Sounds like a fun time.
Well, I went there Saturday morning. I got Starbucks, and I went and sat on the bench and just relaxed looking at the lake. How about
And you
that?
enjoyed it, didn't you? It was
Very
a
relaxing.
Nice, wonderful time.
Nothing to do with being a Hoosier. Just relaxed looking at the water, having a coffee on Saturday morning. Next.
Like the beach, whales on the beach.
Yeah, next.
Oh, gosh. I don't like that Fix guy.
Not hitting the hole.
He keeps saying he serves American food.
Yeah.
Well, dropping some frozen toasted raviolis and mozzarella sticks into a fryer, I wouldn't really call that nice American dining.
Oh.
Anyone can put a thin frozen pizza through a conveyor belt oven.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wouldn't call Chippewa a main thoroughfare in the region. So.
Hey, do not Chippewa back. Donut Drive-In. You have the best lion choice on there, and you have Ted Drew. Come on, don't bash Chippewa.
Watson Road,
Yeah,
turn into
those are all
Chippewa.
good.
Sure, that's
I
what it
wouldn't call it a
does.
main thoroughfare.
I would
Target
agree
on that
with the
road.
main
It's
thoroughfare.
definitely a main thoroughfare.
Nah, I don't even know.
If there's a Target on the road, it's a main thoroughfare.
All right.
But isn't that more
I'm trying to hit
Hampton?
the whole
Yeah, oh, sure. it
Hampton,
is.
Chippewa.
Got a Hampton address, I think.
Yeah, hey, last shot. Wacko. Stop.
Last shot.
Okay. You said you worked hard for a living on your call last week. Yeah, if you call sitting alone all day in a dark, gloomy Edward Jones office inside of an old strip center in Baldwin, where the highlight of your day is deciding between Wendy's and McDonald's for lunch, just sitting around waiting for Daddy to throw you a bone. Yeah, if you call that working hard, go ahead. He's also the type of guy to keep the Fox Business Channel on rather than CNBC like the rest of us. Finance bros know what's up.
I have no idea.
Finance bros know what's up.
That's right, Dougie.
Scratch it off the piece of paper. You've gotten to that
I did
one,
love the where you said he did hard work and then did one of the favorites that we like. Yeah.
Thanks, Clousy. Hey, I'm trying to hit the hole. Regarding Pepper and Jeannie, last thing, and then Gabe can break down Saturday night. The show has not had a better week last week since its inception.
Wow, Doug, a compliment from Mr. Licks on Pepper and
I
Genie.
respectfully disagree with that, but
Well,
we've.
there's the reason he said that.
Oh, I forgot.
Our takes on charcuterie
go ahead,
boards?
go ahead.
What
Go ahead and tell
reason
him.
is that, Iggy?
Go ahead and tell him
What
mine.
reason is that?
I
Go ahead
did
and tell him.
quasi pick the topics.
You go ahead. You do it.
I picked the topics instead of Iggy, I think is what he's getting at. But Iggy also helped and carried a couple of topics that week. I
Nice
thought the
going,
one we
Iggy.
had about a hypothetical children's situation was a really good one, and that was one I picked. But Iggy
That was
throws
good.
out some bangers.
The first, I think it was maybe Friday. You were in the middle of
trying to think of a topic, and Iggy barged in and said, "You know what? I actually have a topic."
Which saved us, by the way.
No,
because I
let's
didn't have
recap
one.
Friday.
Doug, let's recap Friday's pepper.
Real quickly, and since you don't really pay attention, obviously.
Sorry, Gabe.
I started the show and talked about the weather, said, Plaza's going to be a great weekend. Get out there. I'm probably just going to watch some TV, but Mizzou's on. And then Plaza, I said, so what's the topic? Well, I was going to ask what we're going to do this weekend.
Iggy kind of did.
So the topic was already discussed before he asked the topic. So
It was
that's
like
why
topic Jeopardy.
That's why we changed.
I appreciate the support listening this week.
Yeah, get back to the glory hole talk.
Well, see you.
Okay, pot him down. Pot him down. Pot him down.
Yeah.
It's just one bit after another. He's got it all written down on a piece of paper, and he's just, all right, I get to this one. Gene, okay, then make sure I say this perfectly. I got the line written out.
Doug Gabe has it written all down as well, and he is going to join us. Presented by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency here on the other side of the break. The phone lines, Doug, you always said, they are welcoming and fun.
They're poisonous is what they are. They poison the
Smith,
show.
Of North County phone line, 636-9004. TMA. We used to have nothing but ladies calling in. I don't know what's happened.
Yeah.
Maybe HD2 is more male-dominated.
Let's just change the number overnight and not tell anybody.
The ladies are going private now.
Yeah, I think that's what they're
It's
waiting
the guys
for.
that are public.
I just want to see a curtain. Just Doug's in the middle of a take and looks down at a computer and just get the curtain.
It's like a shower curtain. I'll be going private now.
Going private now.
The Colonel's going to talk it over next. You can give your thoughts on the fix and licks calls by emailing in the morning after at InsideSTL.com for our design, air heating, and cooling email. Iggy looks absolutely distraught.
Yeah, fix and licks, couple of dicks.
When we get to this new studio, it absolutely has to have a shower curtain that we can close and go in the corner and go public.
Dude, I would help set that up. Just have the black curtain. Have your feet showing.
Hold on a second. Somebody's mad about the forecast having 80-degree temperatures in it?
Because Iggy did say he's not going to get over 80.
Happen again this year. Is that right? Is it going to be
I
in
think
the 80s?
he guaranteed we wouldn't hit 80.
I didn't see that.
Well, somebody said it might be 81 on Wednesday, and I said,
I don't see 80s.
Well, it's
79 of a high, 80. Okay, on Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, well, it's not Wednesday yet, so just why don't you stop until Wednesday?
But you're confident it will not hit 80?
No, it won't.
See? There you go.
Well, how do you know?
Because I said so.
Oh.
There you go, Doug.
Okay.
Didn't you use that on John Vaughn?
Yeah, I did. I did when he was a little kid.
Why do I have to eat my vegetables,
to
Dad?
a 5-year-old.
Because I said so.
The Colonel is going to join us. Maybe his spirits are up. That's coming up next, presented by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, 314-961-4800. Gabe DeArman next here on the Ryan Kelly Morning After, presented by James Carlton.
Here's Action Jackson with 3 more ways to get TMA content.
Get the TMA mobile app and enable notifications so you don't miss a thing. See our content on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Stream us on the TMA mobile app and at TMASTL.com.
Thanks, Jackson. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on 105.7 FM HD2.
Hey, if you like the morning after, check out Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. HD1, by the way. It's Sports Talk with Tim McKernan and Action Jackson from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. each weekday, right after the morning after. It's the worst named show in the history of radio, but the content's pretty good, so check it out on 101 ESPN or get the podcast on the TMA app.
Hey, it's Jackson for Rosalitas. TMA listeners know that Rosalitas Cantina has the best patio and the best Tex-Mex in town. From tableside guac to piled high nachos, the amazing menu at Rosalitas is full of classic Mexican dishes. Plus, it's always time for a margarita, and Rosalitas has the most delicious house and specialty margs in town. Enjoy happy hour specials Monday through Friday from 3 to 7, and let Rosalitas cater your next event. Check out RosalitasCantina.com or visit the downtown or DePere location today. Time to get your fiesta on at Rosalitas.
The Tim McKernan Show podcast, featuring long-form interviews with people from the world of sports, politics, and entertainment.
And our guest today, Bill McClellan. Thanks so much for coming in.
Hey, my pleasure, Tim.
What's up, Caden?
Hi, how are you?
Joe Buck, our guest today.
Man, it's like I haven't seen you in years.
More than 500 episodes and counting, and it's available wherever you get your podcasts, including the TMA STL app. Get the app now at TMASTL.com.
There's a lot of common sense and Western wisdom like don't squat with your spurs on and always drink upstream from the herd. And there's also some Western wisdom that's less common, like never steal from a bear what you can't make for yourself, or a man doesn't know his worth until he's eye to eye with a rattlesnake holding a toad. I'm sure there's a good lesson in there somewhere, but there's one lesson that is perfectly clear. Fistful of Bourbon is an award-winning blend of 5 straight bourbons and as smooth as a banker on Friday. Get wise and pick up a bottle today. Don't be a damn fool. Please enjoy responsibly. Imported by William Grant & Sons, New York, New York. This is Tim McKernan. I'd like to tell you about a company I started just a couple of years ago and they still own. And it's called Sound Story. It's essentially a 1-hour interview that we do either in person or via Zoom with mothers, fathers, grandmothers, grandfathers. They come in and they tell their stories, education, growing up, and of course, family stories, the wisdom that they can share with their loved ones for generations to come. It's an audio heirloom. It's Sound Story. To learn more, go to mysoundstory.com.
You can get an insurance quote anywhere. Ask yourself, what is my provider doing for me? Do I have to hit prompts? Do I have to deal with chatbots? Am I put on hold? Is it always a different person? Are they local? Are they proactive in the community? Do they represent the #1 provider of auto and home insurance in the U.S.? The James Carlton State Farm team is comprised of individuals right here in your neighborhood. We are out supporting our Blues, Cardinals, Bills, and Tigers. Do something new in 22 and kick the out-of-town companies to the curb. Give us a call or go online to carltoninsurance.net. If your insurance costs a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and I am here with Ryan Kelly, the HomeLoanExpert.com longtime title sponsor of TMA. And you are always taking care of our audience, and now you're doing it in a way that is very appreciated at this particular moment in American history with the cash out refi.
Not only are we doing the cash out refi, but I'm going to put a 10-day closing guarantee on it because I know that people right now need money like they've never needed it before. Get the money you need today. Get caught up on the bills. Stop worrying. Visit thehomeloanexpert.com.
Okay. Hot takes.
Yeah.
Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini.
And now the Pepperoncini Show with Darren Atkins and Ken Strode. All right, take it, fellas.
There it is. That's the open.
Pepperoncini.
Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini.
We don't know what it is. We don't understand the name. We just know it's stupid. And it's available every weekday, featuring Iggy and the Plowboy. Apparently it's some kind of a podcast or something. Available at tmastl.com and on the TMA-STL mobile app. Whatever.
Here's Action Jackson with 3 more ways to get TMA content.
Check out listener rewards on the new TMA mobile app. Watch the show live on the TMA studio cams. Find it at tmastl.com. Get the podcast on the TMA app. Download it now.
Thanks, Jackson. It's the Ryan Kelly Morning After on 105.7 FM HD2.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day.
The Ryan Kelly Morning After.
KPNT-FM HD2.
Collinsville, St. Louis.
They played this as Missouri took the field on Saturday night, and Faroe Field was like a rave.
This is what you point on 3rd down.
Instead of Timmy Trumpet?
Like the,
This gets the team pumped up, jacked up. I think maybe they were too emotional when they were.
Yeah, that's the thing about this.
I think you got to dial it back a little bit.
It is the Ryan Kelly Morning After. Welcome to the Maggie O'Brien's 9 o'clock hour. Send your emails in. A lot of text certainly coming in on Mr. Fix and Mr. Lick's phone calls. And you can email in for our Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today, which comes your way at 9:45 here on the Ryan Kelly Morning After. Action Jackson, I'll bring the heat at 10 o'clock on Balloon Party. And then, Doug, I'll bring even more heat from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the Fast Lane.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a heat distribution center.
Oh.
That's what I am.
Yeah.
Jackson, who's on Balloon Party Day? JR, right?
We got JR on today.
Yeah. We have guests every day now on Balloon Party.
We do.
Treat.
Jeremy Rutherford on Monday.
Yeah. Kerber on Tuesday.
Panger on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Dan McLaughlin on Thursday. And this gentleman on Fridays. But then he's on TMA on Mondays.
Is he?
Doug, keep a flow chart together. He's presented by James Carlton every time, and James Carlton is in the studios to talk it over as well. Good morning, James.
Good morning, everybody.
And he sponsors the Colonel. Iggy is back in the studio, shaking hands with James, and here is the Colonel on the Steve Schmidt North County phone lines. Morning, Gabe.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
We are wonderful. It is great to talk it over with you. We have been discussing the Missouri game throughout the course of the 8 o'clock hour, now here into the 9 o'clock hour. I read your columns and all over PowerMizzou.com. I came away from that game so pleasantly surprised by the way Missouri's defense played, in particular in the first half. And as you wrote, Gabe, you got to give credit to the team and the coaches for having that team ready to go a week after what was a heartbreaking loss. But at the same time, it doesn't wash away some of the question marks surrounding the quarterback and the play calling. So your takeaways from Saturday night against Georgia.
I mean, number one, credit to Missouri. I picked them to lose 48-6. Most people on our board would, most weeks we'll do the prediction contest, and it's like 96% pick Missouri to win. The only 4% are trying to get a free month by going the other direction. This week, I would say it was probably 90% Georgia. So nobody thought this could happen. So they deserve credit for that. But this can now go one of two ways, because to come back from what happened to them at Auburn and to play the way they did and fight, till really about 4 minutes left is incredibly impressive. But now they have to do it again, because I don't think we should just ignore the difference between playing well and almost winning and actually winning. Because if you actually win that game, I mean, that's the biggest upset in school history. That turns the season around. That can do a lot of things. There's a lot of almost that don't really end up meaning a lot. And so can you bring that effort in a road game at 11 a.m. rather than at home at night against the number one team in the country? You shouldn't judge a team on its best or its worst, but that's what we do every week. I mean, for 3 weeks, everybody was convinced Missouri was never going to win another game, and Drinkwitz was an idiot because we'd seen them. We were judging them kind of on their worst effort. I mean, I said right after K-State, if that's the worst they play, they'll be okay. If that's normal, they're in trouble. If Georgia, if that game's normal, they're not going to lose another game this year. If they play that game 8 more times, they'll win every game left on the schedule. Or 7 more times, they'll win every game they've got left. But the chances of them playing that game every week probably aren't all that high.
I guess we're almost halfway through the season now. Do we really know which team is the real Missouri Tigers at this point?
Well, I mean, if we're being honest, we've seen Saturday's Missouri team once. We've seen bad Missouri 3 times. So right now you lean probably more often they're the team we saw against K-State, Auburn, and Abilene Christian than the team we saw against Georgia. They have a little time to convince us otherwise, but that's what the math tells me. 3 is more than 1.
Yeah. Well, what did you think of the way they handled the ball late in the fourth quarter when they're ahead by a little and they're still running the hurry up, and then right at the end when they had a ball with a chance to take the lead and threw 3 incompletions in a row? How did you think that they handled that?
Yeah, it was interesting. I said late in the third quarter, I was talking to the guy next to me in the press box, Gerard Hamilton. I said they should start running the play clock down to 2 or 3. I'm not saying you get super conservative and just run the ball, because you're going to have to score again to win, but they shouldn't snap the ball with 20 seconds left on the play clock. And then literally the play I said that they snapped it with 17 seconds left. Yeah. Now, in the end, is that going to burn 4 minutes? No. So I don't think you can blame that. And if they'd done that and they lost 26-22, there would have been a whole bunch of people saying, well, Eli was playing not to lose. But that's just the entire second half. There was never a time I felt like Missouri had the momentum. When they got that false start on 1st and goal at the 1 and ended up settling for a field goal, I said immediately, just kind of feels like something that's going to come back to haunt them. And then the second half was more just hanging on than it ever really felt like Missouri had seized the momentum. And the game had been 5 minutes shorter. They probably win, but you got to play 60. As far as the last series, I didn't like it at all. I said I didn't like it at the time. I listened to Eli Drinkwitz's explanation. I said I didn't like it again, and it's 2 days later, and I still don't like it. He said he didn't want to run the ball, because he wanted to save time for another possession. And I don't think you necessarily have to run the ball, but throw a screen pass, throw, a quick crossing pattern. Give me something on first and second down that you can get 3 yards on. So you're facing 3rd and 4, and then you actually have a situation where you have to make a decision. And Drinkwitz approached that possession saying, okay, if we don't get the first down, I want enough time that we get the ball back. I would have approached that possession as, we are not punting here. I don't care what the situation is. We will not punt the ball back to Georgia. If that means we go on 4th and 10, we don't get it, they get the ball at our 20 and the game is over, so be it. But I felt like if you punted the ball back to Georgia, the game was over anyway. Georgia at that point had scored on 6 straight possessions. Missouri's defense had given everything it had, and I didn't think had anything really left. He said, he talked about going 2 for 1, and it's almost like saying, well, I'm gonna go kind of halfway on this first possession, so I get a second one. Well, you never got the second one, so do everything you can on the first one, and then maybe don't give them the ball back. And that's not hindsight. It's the way I felt at the time. What he said, I understood. I understood why he punted on 4th and 10. I just wouldn't have done it.
Gabe DeArman with us every Monday here on the Ryan Kelly Morning After, joining us on the Steve Schmidt Kia North County phone lines. He is presented to you by James Carlton at the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, 314-961-4800. Go online at carltoninsurance.net. Gabe, what is your assessment of Brady Cook's play on Saturday night and the state of the Missouri quarterbacking situation?
I thought somebody on our post-game show probably put it better than I have all year. He's not the reason they're losing these games, but he's also not the reason they are going to win them. It was kind of the flip side of Auburn. Auburn, I thought he was really bad most of the day. And then when Missouri really had to have it, he made the one play. Georgia, he was pretty good most of the day. I mean, before that last drive, he's 20 for 29 for 192 and a touchdown. Hadn't thrown a pick, anything like that. But then when Missouri had to have it, and this kind of goes back to Drinkwitz and the play calling. When you've got to go 75 yards against the best team in the country and you haven't consistently run the ball. I mean, they had some big runs, but they weren't consistently averaging big yardage, and you don't have a quarterback that really is the guy that's likely to just say, okay, I'm going to do this straight down the field. It's kind of hard to know what to do. And, I don't know if the term game manager is fair, but you can go to a bowl game with Brady Cook as your quarterback. He just, I don't think, is the guy at this point in time who is lifting an offense that is fairly average around him to be better than average. And that's a little bit what this team needs. And I think the biggest part of the offense on Saturday is just once they lost Dominic Lovett, there's just not another difference maker there right now. And that includes Luther Burden. I mean, there's nobody else on that offense who is consistently making plays outside of Dominic Lovett. I might say Barrett Bannister is probably second.
Gabe, the Plowhawk was wondering about Drinkwitz's current contract situation. What is his contract situation?
He's got 3 years left after this one, I believe. If they were to win 8 games or a bowl game this year, I think that still would extend one more year. But he's got 3 years left on the deal. And look, I think Saturday at least should have quieted the thought that after this year, Missouri should do something. I mean, we saw some of his guys making contributions. We saw that, hey, he deserves credit for getting that team up off the mat and playing the way it did. He clearly is going to get another year after this one. So the interesting part to me, honestly, is Missouri almost in a position where it's going to have to give him an extension at the end of this year. And that's kind of tough too. If he's 5-7, I'm not sure you want to put any more money into it, although that doesn't seem to be a deterrent to the schools. Wisconsin gave their guy an extension like 9 months ago and just paid him, I don't know, $15 million or something to go away.
It's good to be a head coach.
It is, man.
This is all monopoly money they're playing with anyway. So,
Well, what was the mood of the team right after the game? Were they happy that they had played so well, or just devastated that they let that win get away from them?
No, I think devastated is a little strong. I mean, clearly they were disappointed that they lost, but Joseph Charleston said, and I didn't use this quote because it's going to sound worse to fans than he meant it to sound, but he said, I'm happy with the way we lost, and he didn't mean he was happy they lost. He meant, I'm proud of the way we played, even in a loss. And but again, Gary Pinkel famously got, screamed at fans for applauding like a 15-point loss to Texas early in his career, and he said that's not what we're going to do here. And Missouri was clear, hey, it's not a moral victory. There's a lot of good things. We're happy with the way we played overall, but we've got to figure out how to finish these off.
Now, Gabe, I did have a question. My thought process is this is a team that is an offensive coordinator away from being 4-1. I don't think Drinkwitz has been great at play calling. I understand there was glimpses there in the game. Do you see him, obviously not this year, moving forward, giving up the play calling duties, or is this a guy that, it may be too stubborn or kind of thinks he can turn it around and put it together?
No, I mean, again, you hired him because he was an offensive coordinator, because of his offensive prowess. If you make him hire an offensive coordinator, you hired the wrong coach. But I also just play calling, people keep saying that. And, I mean, at Kansas State, they had 2 open long touchdowns. They didn't complete them. The 2 biggest plays against Georgia were a false start on 1st and goal at the 1 and a hands to the face on a play that had them in field goal range. That is 7 points in a game they lost by 4. That's not play calling. That's not – I mean, that's mistakes, but none of that is – it just is way too easy to me to say, call the touchdown play. What's bad play calling? Well, it's play calling that doesn't work. It's not supposed to not work. It just I just think we fall back on, I don't know, my team didn't score enough points, so the play calling sucked. And I think there's so much more that has to go into it, and we don't have enough of the information to even probably one of the things I've seen out of Missouri this year, and I think it's an issue with Brady Cook, I don't know how many plays are zone reads and how many are specifically designed, hey, either you keep the ball or you hand it off. So, again, we can't make this assessment, but there have been a lot of times where I've looked and said, oh, he handed the ball there, and if he'd have just kept it, like the defensive end came down and there was a lot of room, or vice versa. He kept the ball, and if he just handed it off, his guy ran through a huge hole in the middle. Now, again, without the coaches telling us, hey, no, that's predetermined, or that's a play where he makes the read, we can't say it's bad, but it's, again, not play calling. It's the decision.
Colonel, what's the status on Lovett?
We don't know. Some people at the game said it appeared it was an ankle. I asked about him on Saturday night, and Drinkwitz said that he really wanted to play. He tried to play. And then Drinkwitz said, as we found out this week, sometimes you have to protect players from themselves. Now, I think an ankle is a little different to what I think he was obviously referencing, which is the Tua situation. But he said Lovett wanted to play, but they just didn't think he could. So that would make me think probably he'd be okay for this week. But I don't know. Missouri has a bye coming up, and ankles are kind of one of those things where sometimes you just have to give them the full 3-4 weeks rest before they're going to be okay, because if you go back out there, you can just re-aggravate it. So we'll find out tomorrow, but I don't know at this point.
Okay. Gabe DeArman. Doug, did you have something?
Yeah. Can we talk about the elephant in the room that everyone keeps ignoring? Did you think the uniforms were on point?
Oh, you're right. We left that out.
I'm out, guys. That's it.
Clip that off.
Perfect.
Clip it off.
Oh, got it.
That's it. Thank you, Colonel.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
All right.
Legend. Freaking love Gabe.
I thought they looked great, Doug.
I actually did think they did look pretty good.
I'd like the gold pants.
Too bad.
James Carlton is in studio, and he presents Gabe DeArman every week here on both TMA and Balloon Party. James, what was your reaction? You're a big Missouri fan.
Absolutely. Well, Gabe wrote about, if it wasn't this morning, over the weekend, that was the most fun he had covering a game in like 8 years, and that's what we're looking for. I mean, that's a bad beat to have the number one team on the ropes like that and getting a false start on the half-yard line, and that's a tough one. When Schrader gets tackled at the 1 and you don't punch that in, that is a tough one. But the lone touchdown they did have was to a tight end, finally. And it made me think, we've been so spoiled with great tight end play over like the last 15 years.
Brad Ekwerekwu.
Oh, yeah. Albert O.
That's right.
You name him. Blanton won a Super Bowl
Chase
last
Kaufman.
year.
Yeah.
Kaufman was legendary. He created the leap.
T-Rock.
Yeah. I mean, so
Jackie Smith.
Yep.
John Mackey.
They have a kid locally from Francis Howell that's coming in next year that's a 4-star. I mean, we just need players that can go over the middle and body up and but that was
Travis
great
Kelce. We need Travis Kelce.
He might be the greatest tight end of all time, but yeah, we need somebody like that. But I'm just so proud that they could get up off the mat, and that was the most brutal loss to give it away twice like that against Auburn. And tip of the cap to the fans. I mean, they could have mailed that in too and not shown up and wasted a Saturday night. And they created a good atmosphere. I know you have the number one team in town, so that should be a good draw.
It tells you the value of a night start, or at the very least, a non-11 o'clock start. Those 11 o'clock starts are devastating.
Absolutely.
They are devastating. And Missouri has played Georgia at terrible time slots, with the exception, I believe, at Faurot Field, with the exception, I believe, of 2012, the first SEC game. Otherwise, it has been 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and I think maybe one time in 2016, the game you were at, Doug, where you were confused by Missouri running up a hurry-up offense.
Right, ahead by, 6?
Right.
With 2 minutes left.
But 14, 18, 20, they were all at the 11 o'clock games. And when Missouri in 14, for example, had some momentum, or at least was what they wound up winning the SEC East, it just kills it when it's an 11 o'clock game.
Yeah.
And that is a difference maker, especially because for the other schools in the SEC, almost all of them, at least the vast majority, are on the Eastern time zone, and so they have noon kickoffs. Either way, point being, that atmosphere was incredible. And you're right, James. It was fun to at least have a sweat.
Yeah, no kidding. And I don't know, does Baker get the credit, or was Wilkes that bad? I mean, this defense has done a 180.
Wilkes was terrible.
I mean, that is something else. I mean, and that just goes to show.
He's got a bunch of different guys.
Yeah, the transfer portal, how important that can be. Because, I mean, they have a lot of new bodies on there.
Hopper's unbelievable.
He mentioned Charleston.
Tremendous.
Hopper's legit. And then Charleston was a transfer from Clemson. He looks great. He actually commented that was one of the best atmospheres he's played in. And obviously, he came from a good pedigree. So let's see what we have at the Swamp this coming Saturday.
Yeah, they need Lovett. That could that's something.
They need him at least.
That's something that I think, if you want to set expectations, if you don't have that, that's where I would monitor things very closely, because that's the guy who really is the one who's moving the ball when they're in the air, because they have a quarterback situation.
And Mizzou's actually fared decently well in Gainesville. Do you remember in 2014 when they went down there and won? I think they had like 150 yards of offense.
Yeah, it was super low.
And scored 40-something points. No, I mean they had pick sixes, punt returns, and it was just nuts. That was a game.
That was was that?
Matty Mock was quarterback.
Yeah, I know that, but somebody had a huge game for Missouri defensively. Was it Ely?
Gosh,
would it have been Ely?
It might have been. Yeah, it might have been. But
Shane Ray was on that team, because he was booted from the Alabama game.
Yeah.
You remember that, Jackson?
Yeah, he late hit A.J. McCarron in the head.
No, it wasn't McCarron.
Was it not?
I don't think it was McCarron.
Well, either way, the coach put his hands up in the air before the pass was even caught.
Yeah, I was right behind Lane Kiffin.
That's who it was.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin would throw it up in the air, hands up in the air before the ball's even caught, and you're just going, oh, that's a problem.
Shane Ray was booted, and it was over.
Yeah, the fact that Missouri team got to the SEC championship game is something else. But either way, James, we appreciate it as always.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you, gentlemen.
There he is, James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, 314-961-4800. Jax, can you tell the people about Mark Hanna of Evergreen Wealth Strategies?
Yeah, man, he's the best in the business. Working with someone like Mark has so much value, not just from the money you're saving, but the peace of mind that you have from working with someone who's not only so knowledgeable, who's got excellent strategies, but is such a quality human being. That's what I sleep easy at night, knowing that if I ever have a problem or I'm nervous about something coming up in the future, I want to change something, I can get on the phone with Mark Hanna. I know he's going to be excited to talk to me because he really loves talking to clients, and I'm just going to be in such a better position. While on top of all that, saving money, every single month. So if you don't have anybody, if you just throw money into a savings account, if you're looking to save money for retirement, kids' college fund, whatever the situation might be, get in touch with Mark Hanna. You're going to be really happy you did. And if you have someone already, consider making the switch over to Mark because he's the best in the business.
There it is, 314-889-0503, or go online at evergreenstl.com. That's Mark Hanna, Evergreen Wealth Strategies. Parents of tournament golfers, Family Golf is offering a competitive junior coaching program designed to prepare young golfers for competition. This program features weekly one-on-one private lessons with one of Family Golf's top instructors, as well as weekly group practice sessions. Monthly, 6-month, 9-month, or yearly commitments are available. They also have winter simulator leagues going on, so keep your golf game strong through the winter with Family Golf Simulator Leagues. 6-week sessions, Monday or Tuesday with tee times at 5 and 7 p.m., with 3 separate sessions starting in October through March. New course and formats each week, with weekly prizes and skins games. Go to familygolfonline.com for more information or to sign up. And Doug, you might see me there at Family Golf, and you will know I'm there by the...
Why?
It sounds like a sizzle with the ball coming off my club with this compression.
Is that what
the
it sounds like?
sizzle, the ball strike, the sizzle.
All right.
When Nagel hears that, I would imagine he'll just WD. That's what I imagine.
I would think that he'd hit his shot, and then he'd see you hit yours, and he would turn right there at the first tee, turn rear, and head on back, put his clubs in the
That's what
trunk.
I think, too. That's exactly what I think, actually. Thank you.
And who could blame him with the sizzle that's coming off your club?
FamilyGolfOnline.com. Doug, here are the announcers not happy about the Aaron Judge cut-ins.
Oh,
it's so funny. God, I love that they bashed him.
Let's go double box for the first time today. You'll notice that no pitcher is pitching around Aaron Judge in this double box. We have a double box with Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers.
Boston College tied at 7. Oh, by the way, McDonough, the tarp is on the field at Yankee Stadium.
Oh, what a shame.
They hate it, and they should. It's not a home run record. I don't. What are we celebrating? The AL home run record? Are we dismissing completely Bond's 73?
Probably the non-steroidal home
This
run
is
record.
not a record, though. They don't have an asterisk.
For the American League, it is.
Yes, but in terms of cutting in a...
I would like to come over the top, Doug, if I can, with a take.
Okay.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. This is not grasping the American interest in this story in a startling way. Just no one cares. Now, if you are in New York, you do. And if your lens of the world is seen through Manhattan and, the Bronx and Connecticut and Jersey, then I suppose then you believe that the rest of the world cares. But so few people in the country, especially in SEC football country, care about Aaron Judge hitting a 60-second home run. It is the American League record. It's just people don't care. Like, I'm truly in awe of the cut-ins. I don't care in the whole scheme of things, but I mean, you've got to be kidding me. The only reason I say you got to be kidding me is I just can't believe that they think that people care unless it's so myopic with regards to the New York worldview that it's applied to the rest of the country, as if somebody sitting in Seattle's like, man, gather around, Judge is up. Just people don't care.
No.
It's not 1998.
No.
Brah. And Doug, I called you brah.
You really did. Aaron go brah.
That's correct.
Yeah, I'm a huge baseball fan, and I don't particularly... I'm rooting for him because he seems like such a great guy. I was really rooting for him to win the Triple Crown. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. He's 3 or 4 points now down in the batting race. That would be a bigger... I think that's probably a bigger accomplishment than hitting 62. I think.
Why? It's...
Because you're the best hitter in all categories, all major categories.
Miguel Cabrera did it like back-to-back years, didn't he? Like 10
Yes, he
years ago,
did.
so it's not like it hasn't happened.
And the year before that, I think he was like 1 home run away or something ridiculous of 3 in a row.
Well, but you've also had guys hit more than 61 home runs.
Poor Maris family. How many games they got to go to?
I know. Yeah,
and they sit there and act like they're excited for him.
That's such an awkward deal.
Yeah.
At least that's over.
his
Or is he still going now that it's at 62?
Well, they must want to, because it'd be easy to say, nah, we don't want anything to do with that.
I think what it is a because they were there in '98, and certainly don't view it the same way now that they did in 1998. So it's kind of like blessing the record with their presence. That's what I think it is. Your thoughts are welcome. 314-881-TMA5. That is how you can text in. Let's see. Alan Dadeville says, I really wish UGA had a guy like Gabe covering the team. All the UGA guys, except for one or two, don't break from party lines and only see it the way UGA fans want to see it. That's from Alan Dadeville. I agree with that. Gabe is Joe Strauss. That'd be my analogy. He'll just, you don't like it, fine, I don't care, but this is what I think, and here's why I think it, and fine. And I love that. I would say it's underrepresented in St. Louis, but it's probably the case, as Alan Dadeville's pointing out. It is, I would imagine, common throughout the country that most people give the fans what they want. But at the same time, I would think, like in New York, Boston, and Philadelphia, they probably just crap on the teams. But maybe that's what the fans want.
Joe enjoyed saying Truman down.
See, with Gabe, and similar to Joe, my favorite form of comedy is that dry humor where it's all about delivery. And Gabe has that to a T, man. He will call a dumpster fire a dumpster fire. And that's, he doesn't hide behind anything, which I appreciate.
Why he's not more interested in the uniforms, I don't know.
That was it.
He's missing.
I'd like to hear that drop.
I'll cut it today for sure. It's a great word.
Guys, Ken is so good at, quote, creating content, according to him, that he loves hopping on board with a bet and then instantly saying he is going to lose, which absolutely kills the content. See the pitch speed bet. Keep killing it, Content King. That's from Dogtown Ty. Doug, you know about him and his drone.
Yeah, he's got the heck of a
What
drone.
am I? They say we're going to lose the Nagel bet? But there's no bet.
Yeah, there is no wager.
Yeah, so
at the moment, I don't know.
What bet are you
Stephen
talking
Wildwood
about?
wants to bet $5,000.
I think
I
he's
wouldn't
very
do
safe
that.
with that bet.
Yeah, what bet are you talking about? There is no bet on this one.
Oh, God, can you imagine if I bet like a substantial amount of money and then...
I would tell you not to.
I bet on Nagel.
and then the team, we didn't get it done.
I'll bet on Nagel.
That'd be awkward.
We're in the 8th hole down 6.
I'll take Nagel.
We're not going to get anything done. Look at us. Just look at us.
Well, he only shot 62 on Friday, so that gives us a little window.
You could give him a Walmart set of clubs, and I still would probably put my money on Nagel.
I'm dead serious. I mean, if I'm thinking of my low single-digit friends, not even bringing in the scratches and pluses, and said, okay, you guys go out there and try and beat him. I guess if it's a best ball or if it's a scramble. Yes, if it's best ball, it might be tough. Scramble, we probably would be able to do it. I would think we would be able to do it. But yeah, 62. Wow. How do you do?
Well, the foreplay guys, the Kisner thing, but
I've been watching the Kisner one. I'm half hour through. I think there's another 45 minutes of it.
But the difference between a 15-18 handicap and a 7, I can't believe I have to explain this, is night and day difference. Distance, accuracy, all of that sorts of things. So I wouldn't compare this event to Kisner event because...
Aren't there a few double-digit handicaps in
There's
that group?
one.
There was only one in that group?
One,
Is that right? Doug, which one was the double-digit handicap
Hell,
in Trent?
I don't know.
Trent, yeah.
I like Trent.
I like Trent. Because Riggs is a 3, and I think...
Riggs isn't a 3.
Or
I think there was a guy who is a 3, but it didn't Riggs.
Well, and Kisner hits at 270. Nagel hits at 340.
Yeah. Right, but Kisner's still a professional.
Well, he is, but he's hitting at 270. I mean, if Tim gets a hold of 270...
Does Kisner really only hit at 270, or are you being facetious?
No,
he's a very...
His average on the tour is probably close to 290, but they have 2 holes that they use for distance.
I think I'm with Iggy. I think we would have a better chance against Kisner because I think the problem with Nagel will be the distance from the tips. So Iggy, I'm 100% with you.
Well, Kisner, I guess in the big picture, has had a better career than Nagel, so he's probably a better player, and he'd get to be a better player by scoring lower, so I think we'd have probably more trouble with Kisner.
Guys, Riggs is a 3.9. That's according to Tervis Parrish, who says we should win.
I think we have a better chance than you guys.
I'm surprised Riggs is a 3.9. Iggy, are you surprised? I don't know how closely you monitor that.
I've seen him play a couple times.
Unless maybe he's just really improved lately.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I thought he was like a 9.
Yeah, I've just seen a couple of videos of him playing, like at a Gateway playing a hole, but I don't know how many times they edited that and just, I'll hit another one until I get in the fairway.
Turris Parish just gave us an update. Riggs is now 3.6.
Going down.
So I was
Just
right.
a score, I guess.
And then Frankie
Riggs
is like a
actually.
7 or a 6.
I thought it was a 5. Someone said that it was a 5.
Yeah, so if you have those two guys on your roster, of course, like...
And there are other guys of single digit as well.
Yep.
Yes, Kisner hits the ball 270, but yet when you look at his tour average, it's 290. Makes a whole lot of sense, Strode. Doug, that's from little Tommy Tribbins, who is currently on datagolf.com.
It does make sense when you're only averaging 2 holes on the PGA Tour. What about the other 12 you play from par 4s and 5s?
Why don't they average them all in?
I don't know. They just take 2 holes. The average, the long drive holes on the PGA Tour. They take 2. Those are your driving holes. They don't take all 14 if it's a 72.
Well, it seems like they should.
Well, why don't you call the PGA?
I just might.
Punch them up. I'm just telling you how they come up with the average.
Y'all think a PGA Tour top 125 player would be easier to beat? You all need to listen to QFTA with Tim in Wellington. That's from the Bougie Wasp.
No, I get, I'm just talking in terms of pure distance from the tips. It would be easier to have a guy hit it 60 yards less than the guy we're playing against. Now, I'm not saying Kisner's a bad player at all. He's a pro. He's won events. He's on President Cup teams or whatever. I get it, but still.
He probably,
60-yard difference, I would take that all day.
I'm with you.
That's what's gonna kill us.
If we played from the whites, if our team got to play from the whites, we'll beat them.
We would
100%.
From the tips, we have no shot.
I've seen you hit the ball.
Doug, we would 100% beat Nagel from the
Oh, my God. It sounds like a
100%.
threat.
We wouldn't.
If Nagel's listening, I think he is on alert.
He has to agree with that,
He is red right now.
Yeah, I think he would agree that we would have a way better chance from the whites. Yes, he gets to hit from the whites, but...
No, he plays from the tips, we play from the whites.
No,
that's lame.
No, I think if we both
Why is
play
it
from the
lame?
whites,
We got
we'd win.
3 guys in the 20s.
We
in
have
their handicap.
5. We have 5
So
people.
what? 3 of them don't count.
What do you mean?
Doug, you were just told you don't count.
I don't. I'm a schlepper.
You're disenfranchising Doug.
Try not to
I'm
fall
disenfranchising
down
me and Plowsy as well.
Yeah, I think I would agree with
I'm talking about drives. We're at a disadvantage when we're 50, 60 yards behind them off the tee.
Right, but then we get 5 chances.
Yeah,
we
5 chances with 3
That's assuming I'm in the fairway.
Yeah, 5 chances if we're in the fairway
Tim, we're
with
taking
3
a drive
woods into a hole.
Anywhere.
Where he's hitting 8 irons.
Jackson can poke it.
He can.
Well, I said 3 of us don't count. I'm counting you and Jackson.
I understand.
But you have to put it in the fairway to be 50 yards. We may be 50 yards back in the rough.
Well, it would figure that the shorter the hole, the better chance we have.
Yeah, but still the par 3s are going to be
If it was just
200.
all par 3s, yeah, we'd have a real much better chance.
If it was all par 3s, we'd win.
Hopefully.
Oh, I don't know.
No, that's for sure.
5 chances on a par 3 and then 5 chances to putt?
I've seen 5
Skip
guys
Berkmeyer
almost
has
agree.
just issued a statement. I feel if I replaced Doug or Darren, it still would be hard this time of year on a course like Meadowbrook not to be a dick. That's from Skip Berkmeyer.
No, you're
Not
probably
being
right.
a dick, you should replace
But this is the same
him.
guy who worked on my short game with me. Worked on my short game with me for 2 days.
What are we doing?
And said he has no shot of making 9 out of 10. So
He doubted you, didn't he?
He did. He worked on my game. He's my short game coach.
Are you guys sideways now like Tiger and Hank Haney?
Not sideways with him. A lot of people, 90% of the people said I couldn't do it.
That's right.
So he's just one of.
Well, 90. They said you couldn't do it from 40 yards out.
I'm getting tired of this.
Now,
None of you know golf.
Oh, God. Does Skip agree about the whites, us having an advantage if we all play for the whites, including Nagel? I think that would be an easy win for us. So I think that the off the tee is going to be absolutely brutal.
I mean, the issue is it's outside of the fact that he's absurdly. I mean, the man's
Insane.
a +7. If Chris and I were to go out and play, he would be giving me 10 strokes, and if I were to go out and play Iggy, I'd be giving Iggy 15 strokes. That kind of gives you an idea of the delta here.
I'll get 27 shots.
So I don't know if the white tees things. I think I agree with you that it improves our chances because it takes us in a spot. Wellington just keeps talking about number 15, where it's like a 250 carry.
We're probably going to be done by 15.
Yeah, then that's kind of. I said to him, I said, I'm not quite sure we we get a chance to see that one.
If we do, it's a win. If we actually get to see 15 tee box, then we're still in competition.
Let's see. Skip has just issued a statement. I didn't think Iggy was only 20 yards from the green. I thought he would be 40.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I think we all did.
This dude going rogue.
I think we all did.
Absolutely going
What a
rogue.
difference what a difference
Anybody
20
find
yards
that?
makes.
Anybody find that audio of Wellington saying yes, 40 yards to the pin? Can we please find that and end this?
It's because you said
Who's
40
we?
yards from the green.
Whoever, Swope, whoever's out there who finds audio everywhere, but then when I ask for it, we can't find
Now,
it.
Wellington did
So
say...
now you're yelling at people for not doing something.
The accomplishment definitely has been tainted.
Well, it's all these people that keep saying 40, 40, 40, 40, 40.
Yeah.
Find the audio where Wellington said to the pin. My God, he knows golf. He knows that everything is measured to the pin. All right, what have I got to the pin? Oh, you got 40 to the pin. I don't care about the pin. What have I got to the fringe?
How are you in Skip like Tiger and Haney?
Why, is he the one that texted in about the 40?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I thought it was 40 yards, too.
Stop. You should know better.
A lot of us were
If I'm caddying for you and you got a wedge, all right, what do I got? You got 22. 22, that pin's in the middle. No, just you're looking at the fringe, right? No, you're not looking at the fringe. You're looking at the pin.
But if it's a chipping contest just to get on the green, you should look at the
I'm
front.
also a 20 handicap.
18.
Yeah, but you
I
said
could
you could
shank
do
it anywhere.
But you said you could do it.
And I did do it.
But not from 40 yards.
Yes, almost every shot went 40 to 50 yards.
No, but a couple of them didn't.
Well, I could have used a pitching wedge, too, because I had 30 yards behind, or I had 30 paces behind the hole.
I really would like to carry the discussion over. We have some business
I don't.
to
Let's
tend
end it.
to. And some emails, and then Jackson and I are going to get read the riot act about yesterday. And Albert and Yachty watching the rest of the game from a suite.
Oh. Is that where they went? I didn't
Really?
see that.
They went to a suite?
They
With their
did.
families.
Oh, God. Come on.
Yeah, here we go. Hawk's going to leave a mic drop.
There you go, baby.
You should.
Hey, Tim, it's me, Darren from down the hall.
And I'll chime in. Quit giving him paintings.
Darren from Delwood.
Darren from Delwood. Hey, it's cybersecurity, the most exciting career in technology and one of the most in demand. Centric can train you for a career in cybersecurity, and they can do it in just 4 months. Centric's hands-on program teaches you the actual job skills you need to get started. No history, no biology, just technology. That's how they do it in just 4 months, even if you have no IT experience. You can do it online, you can do it in person, you can do it in the evenings, you can do it during the day, whichever works best for you. If you're interested in a career in cybersecurity, call Patrick Nealon at Centric Training today, and he'll walk you through Centric's cutting-edge program and show you everything Centric does to help get you started in your new IT career. Call 314-450-4714 or go to centric.com/STL. That's CENTRIQ.com/STL. Cybersecurity is a problem for every business. St. Louis, you can be part of the solution. Jackson, would you like to tell us about something?
Muggsy is back. It's officially jean season, so let me introduce you to Muggsy, the only jeans you'll ever want to wear again. The most damn comfortable denim ever made and designed to fit your perfect body every single time. Say goodbye to those old tight jeans that make your legs feel like they're being squeezed. Because Muggsy is crafted from intense stretch material that moves and grooves with you and creates airflow down below. Ooh. Plus, they're so soft, I feel like...
What a drop. Is that in the script?
What was that?
It's right in there.
In parentheses, moan.
Plus, they're so soft, you feel like you're wearing sweatpants. They're available in any color you could ever want. I put those jeans on, and they're so comfortable. You know, those old jeans you'd have to be all stiff and, you know, not comfy. You're kind of walking around kind of stiff-legged. Not with Muggsy's, man. They look great, and, of course, they feel great. And for this Cardinal playoff run they're going to be making this October, going to get a little cold. Those Muggsy jeans will look perfect. So treat yourself for once and head over to Muggsy.com using code TMA for 10% off and free shipping on the most comfortable jeans we've ever worn. That's Muggsy.com, code TMA for 10% off your entire order with free shipping and free returns if you don't like them. Go experience the life-changing comfort with Muggsy.
Tommy Cebulka and VIP Auto Accessories. Call Tommy directly, 314-428-3900, or email him at tommy.cebulka@vipautoaccessories.com. VIP Auto Accessories is your one-stop full-service shop for all your auto accessory needs. They do van and truck upfitting for commercial fleet vehicles, provide graphic solutions for vehicles, retail office space, floors, windows, and more, and have a full array of public safety solutions, including for EMS and police fleets. VIP is now a full-service operation providing top-quality service and the ability to get it done now. VIP's one-stop shop will save you time and hassle. Go to VIPAutoAccessories.com or call Tommy at, here's the number, 314-428-3900, 314-428-3900. That's VIP Auto Accessories and the great Tommy Sabolka, who was in attendance at TMA Live at the great Eddie McVeigh's, Maggie O'Brien's in Sunset Hills a couple of weeks ago. Maggie O'Brien, sponsor of the 9 o'clock hour here on the Ryan Kelly Morning After. Jeremy Rutherford going to join us coming up on Balloon Party, and I will be on the Fast Lane from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. as well. And then Doug will watch the Rammies and 49ers tonight.
Well, I probably won't.
Oh, well,
I don't know if a new season of The Bachelor starts.
Oh, does it?
I don't know. The last one just ended.
Well, you're probably watching that new The Real Love Boat.
The Real Love Boat that's on?
Yeah, they're going to have real people trying to date each other in the Love Boat.
Oh,
Just
sure.
stop with this.
Nice.
Just go on Tinder and find people.
On a boat.
But with all these shows.
That's what they're doing, only they're making a TV show out of it, putting it on a boat.
They've had enough of it.
You don't have to watch.
I'm not.
I mean, this 40-yard thing just has you all.
Yeah, it would have been nice had it been 40 yards out.
Well, I'm going to find that audio.
Next time, I'm bringing a tape measure.
Well, you know what?
950.
You know who
I know. We got to do that.
I'm sorry. Wellington's the one who's lasered it off, and I got out there to hit balls.
All right.
Design, air, heating, and cooling email today. Hey, boys, worst weekend ever. First of all, Mizzou loses a heartbreaker. And second of all, I dropped $700 on the La Quinta honeymoon suite and don't get any hole action. I wore my cutest customized Missouri jersey to the game that read "The Thicker Liquor" on the back and got no bites. Then the only thing that came through our room glory hole was a tiger tail. Well, I sucked that sumbitch anyway. Hopefully your weekend was better than mine, Doug. Gotta scoot Doug's microphone shadow.
Doug's microphone shadow.
Pepper and Jeannie's representation today. Plowsy, Achilles heel. Iggy, degress. What in the Canton Little Giants, Brentwood Eagles education heck is going on here? Because those ain't real words.
Achilles is a real word.
But this email is about life's little surprises. What I didn't know, that the email of the month winnings included a grand prize, a ride along with a mystery celebrity, 9 a.m. Saturday, up came driving a shiny LeBaron convertible. He was wearing a Halloween mask. But the inordinately large size of his love and those khakis gave me a pretty good idea who it was. He's like, "Hey, buddy, want to go to breakfast?" So off we went. And after our bellies were full, we had a super-duper surprise. We went parking at Mastodon State Park. Don't want to get real graphic, but let's just say you haven't experienced true excitement in your life until you've been kicked out of a state park for making man-on-man love underneath a stuffed bison display.
No.
Whilst you and your lover are wearing nothing but paper Waffle House hats. That's from Bruce D, and then the last name is Kalk.
Achilles is pronounced Achilles.
Bruce D. Kalk.
Achilles. It's the same thing.
Get my vote.
Sup, Slides and Slicks. The weekend was ballin'. Mizzou showed. Cardinal ceremony. Mr. Licks or Fix, waste of air. Iggy excited. Plowly extending contracts. Jackson fine twink. Doug throbbing. Tim my hero. Panties none. Me horny. Get sloppy. Stay frisky and pop it. Get it. Got it. Just flock it. Flocky the Smurf. P.S. Doug's today's your safe word is tissue.
Flocky the Smurf.
So you have to yell out tissue if you're
Why
getting...
would I yell that out?
Just be safe.
Just as I'm sitting here, I need to yell that out?
No, when you're about to climax.
Oh.
And finally, October is here, so that means spooky season is officially upon us. Don't you like spooky season?
I like it, yeah.
Here is a nice little poem to celebrate. Trick or treat, lick my feet. Give me something good to eat. If you don't, I don't care. I'll sniff your little underwear. Oh, by the way, earlier when he's shaking his head. Oh, by the way, earlier when I said give me something good to eat, I was talking about Jackson's butt. I want to eat Jackson's thick, juicy dumper.
Okay.
And sniff his
All right,
undies.
that's enough.
Look, this is the filtered file.
Who
I'm
was
reading.
it, Tim?
The JV golf coach.
JV golf coach suspended a period of 2 days' time. His name as we speak.
When I was reading, I knew I was in the filtered file.
suspension log, you know.
That was filtered.
That's how you end a win.
Golf coach. He's out. He can't win today. Got suspended. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Hurry up.
I'm on the air in 12 seconds.
Bruce
I gotta pee.
Bruce DeKalk gets my vote.
It's embarrassing.
What is?
I guess I got to vote for Bruce caulking.
Oh, that's BS.
I mean, it's just nothing else was any good. And that wasn't any good.
Congratulations to Bruce caulking.
Yeah.
Not even the name. That's not
He's
even the
new.
name.
It was Kevin Miller.
Right?
Oh, we know who it is, but
I gotta go do a show where I get yelled at by people for an hour. See ya.
KPNT